All right, good evening. It's now 6:32. Today is Monday, February 23rd, 2026. And I now call this Winton Woods City School Board of Education meeting to order. Would you please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. One of our first orders of business this evening is to appoint a treasurer pro tempore. So the public is aware, since Mr. Seymour, our treasurer, is absent just from this board meeting this evening, Ohio Revised Code does require us to appoint another board member to the role for this evening's meeting. Usually it is the duty of the vice president to perform that. So board agenda item number 1.03 calls for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint the board vice president as treasurer pro tempore for purposes for tonight's board meeting.
I second the motion.
Thank you. It's been motioned and seconded. Any discussion? Mr. DeMark, first of all, thank you for being here just as a resource to the board in Mr. Seymour's absence. We appreciate definitely the smoothness of the transition and your quickness in stepping up for sure. Since there aren't any additional questions, can you please call for the vote on treasurer pro temp?
Mr. Spielman.
Aye.
Ms. Bryant.
Aye.
Ms. Miller.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Knighton.
Aye. Thank you. That vote passed unanimously. We will go ahead and move to agenda item 1.04, roll call. Mr. DeMark, would you please call for the roll?
Mr. Spielman.
Present.
Ms. Bryant.
Present.
Ms. Miller.
Present.
Mr. Smith.
Here.
Ms. Knighton.
Present. Thank you. Next on the agenda is definitely a board favorite and highlight of the night, which is why all of you are here, so thank you for joining us. Is 2.01, District Honors, Recognitions, Gifts, and Introductions. I will pass the floor to Superintendent Deming.
Thank you, President Knighton, and good evening, Board. Good evening, everyone. It's great to see such a packed house this evening, and without any further ado, we'll get right into it. We have quite a few young people to acknowledge and celebrate, as well as some staff, so we'll roll right into that. Just a brief description of how this will go, just to help the flow. We'll call a series of awards, and we'll read a little bit about each one of them. As each award recipient is called up, we just ask that both the person being honored and any family members or guests in attendance with the person, please come to the front of the room so that you can be recognized and greeted by one of our Board of Education members. Following each recognition, please make your way over to the side of the room. It'll be that side over there, so that we could take a group photograph at that time. All right. With those instructions out of the way, we'll roll right into the first recognition, which is the McDonald's 2026 Black History Makers of Tomorrow. This recognition goes to a high school senior, and we have a senior here in Winton Woods High School we're extremely excited to announce this evening. This particular high school senior is only one of 16 students in the entire state to be selected as a 2026 Black History Maker of Tomorrow McDonald's Award winner. The criteria are as follows. A Black high school senior, 12th grade student, uplifts their peers and or community through positive behavior and or change, is a leader amongst their peers and within the school and community, is dedicated to strengthening their culture as well as inviting others to learn about the culture, holds at least a 3.0 GPA, and balances school, family, athletics, extracurriculars, and possibly even a part-time job and or community volunteering while accomplishing all of the other criteria. We are extremely proud to announce this evening the winner of the McDonald's 2026 Black History Makers of Tomorrow Award, Shania Ruth. All right, The next award this, one more round of applause, I'm sorry. Congratulations, Miss Ruth. The next award this evening, recognition, is the Love Grows Here Art Competition. It's a first place winner recognition for a citywide art competition. And this is from the December board meeting, but we're thrilled that we can be joined this evening. And if we could put up the artwork here in a bit, but we'll get right to that. If we could have her come to the front along with anyone she's brought along with her. Congratulations to Miss Corey Blevins. And here's the image that was award-winning in this case. Congratulations, Corey. The next recognition this evening is the Cincinnati Artist Network. This is another Winton Woods High School student. We want to congratulate this student, a senior, whose artwork titled The Alien, and we'll put that up here in just a moment as well so you can take it in. It's pretty amazing. The Alien is featured on the Cincinnati Artists Network, or CAN, homepage under Black Artist Love. On CAN's website, the Cincinnati Artists Network connects and supports the independent artists and creative entrepreneurs who help shape our region's culture. CAN serves artists and collaborators in the 15-county Cincinnati MSA, or Metropolitan Statistical Area, that serves Greater Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, and Southeast Ohio. You can see the artwork there on screen. Please help me recognize and acknowledge Winton Woods High School senior, Aiden Hilliard. Congratulations, Aiden. We're also proud to share the Winton Woods Middle School Art Gallery winners as well this evening. And Mr. Dave Simon, the art teacher at the middle school, shared these with the board and central office. There are 3 art commendations for the district we'd like to recognize this evening. The first is the Bronze Level Award, and it's a tie. There are 2 students, and that would be Monty Purdue and Taronda Turner. Miss Jordan, I'm not sure if you're there, if you can display the art for people to see that may have not have been able to take it in already. All right, for the Silver Award recognition this evening, we have Tamaya Jackson. Oh, okay. Thank you, sorry. Congratulations. Yeah. And finally, the Gold Level Award for the Winton Woods Middle School Art Gallery. Gold winner, Kayleana Thomas. Congratulations. Kayleana Thomas. Okay. Congratulations to all of our award winners. The next award for this evening is the Horace Mann Fine Arts Student of the Month Award. The Fine Arts Student of the Month Award has the following criteria: to be nominated For this particular recognition, students must maintain an academic standard of 3.0 GPA or higher in the previous quarter, show respect for directors, fellow ensemble members, contest adjudicators, teachers, other students, and family, show enthusiasm and a positive attitude, display commitment to rehearsals, concerts, personal skill development, demonstrate honesty and integrity, and have high moral character. The Horace Mann Fine Arts Student of the Month Award is sponsored by the Horace Mann Educators Corporation, a business partner of Winton City Schools, and students who are so honored receive an Amazon gift card. We'd like to call at this time 12th grade student with a 3.914 GPA, February 2026 Horace Mann Fine Arts Student of the Month Award winner, Kimmy Ba Perez. And I'd like to read a little bit from Kimmy's art teacher, Miss Harmony Main, about her as a student. Kimmy is a standout student who shows great focus and a genuine desire to learn. Despite this being her first formal art class, she has demonstrated a high level of technical skill and a genuine eagerness to improve. She consistently stays on task, asks insightful questions, and approaches every critique as an opportunity to refine her craft. This commitment to learning has allowed her to produce work that is remarkably advanced for a first-year student. Her recent clay house project, 3D art piece it sounds like, perfectly highlights this talent. Despite having never worked with the medium before, she produced a piece with incredible attention to detail and craftsmanship. Beyond her individual achievements, Kimmy is also a valued member of the classroom. She is always willing to help her peers and maintains a kind, supportive attitude toward everyone. Her work ethic and character make her a true pleasure to have in class. Congratulations, Kimmy. Next award this evening is the Kiwanis Student of the Month Award. Students are selected for the Kiwanis Character is Key trustworthiness in the case of this month's character trait. And the award is based on the following description. Trustworthiness means being honest in words and actions, doing what is right, even when no one is looking, keeping promises, being loyal to a person or cause. The Character is Key Trustworthiness Award is sponsored by the Green Hills Forest Park Kiwanis Club, a partner of Winton City Schools, and the students so honored will receive a La Rosa's gift card as a part of this award. We're joined this evening by Mr. Dave Bell, who represents the Green Hills Forest Park Kiwanis Club. Thanks for being here, Mr. Bell. And at this time, it gives me great pleasure to call Winton Woods Middle School student for the month of February, Characters Key Trustworthiness. We have two, actually. Kayliana and Tayana Thomas. While y'all are coming up, I'll read some really nice things written about Miss Jan Mavrodoglu, middle school secretary, regarding the Thomas twins. Kayliana and Tayana are outstanding students who exemplify trustworthiness in all aspects of school life. They consistently demonstrate the warrior way by being dependable, honest, and responsible, qualities that make them trusted leaders among their peers as well as with staff. Both students excel academically, remain committed to completing their assignments, and have earned honor roll recognition every quarter throughout 7th and 8th grade. As active members of Student Council and the National Junior Honor Society, Kayliana and Tayana can be relied upon to lead with integrity and follow through on commitments. Their trustworthiness was especially evident through their leadership in organizing and supporting the school's kindness campaign, where they helped foster compassion, inclusion, and a positive school culture. Thank you, ladies. Congrats. The next award this evening is the Kiwanis Student of the Month Award. The Kiwanis Student of the Month Award is sponsored by the Green Hills Forest Park Kiwanis Club, a partner of Winton City Schools. The student so honored will receive a La Rosa's gift card as a part of this award. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to call 9th grade student, Winton Woods High School student for February 2026, Kiwanis Student of the Month, Melchizedek Akah. And you go by Melky, right? Yeah, congrats, Melky. I'd love to read the nomination that was penned by his Spanish teacher, Miss Claudia Brown. It is a true pleasure to nominate Melky for Student of the Month. From the very first weeks of school, Melky has distinguished himself not just through his academic excellence, but also through his character, curiosity, and commitment to learning. Melky has earned a 100% on every assignment so far. Wow. But what makes that achievement even more remarkable is how he gets there. He completes assignments the day they are given, often finishing 3-day projects in a single evening. Not out of pressure, but out of genuine interest. In fact, he works so far beyond the level of a typical Spanish 1 student that I've had to create what we refer to as a, quote, Melky level assignment in class, because the regular work simply isn't challenging enough for him. That's pretty incredible. What truly sets Melky apart, however, is his mindset. He asks thoughtful questions, not just about what we are learning, but about what we will learn next. When we are studying numbers, he was already asking about telling time. When we learned the difference between ser and estar, he wasn't satisfied with the rule that works 90% of the time. He wanted to understand the other 10%. And he went home and researched it himself. When he makes a mistake, he doesn't brush it off. He insists on understanding why, because accuracy and growth matter to him. Melky is also a leader in the classroom. He helps his classmates without judging them for what they don't yet know. He raises the expectations for everyone around him simply by the example he sets. He doesn't cut corners, doesn't waste time, and doesn't even leave class unnecessarily. Learning to him is clearly always the priority. He never complains about extra work. In fact, he welcomes it. Students like Melky are the reason teachers love coming to work. He is motivated, kind, disciplined, and deeply curious. I am grateful that Melky walked into my classroom, and I am confident that he is one of those students who will go on to achieve great things. It's been a privilege to be a part of his journey, and I will have to second that. Congrats, Melky. The next award this evening is the Skyline Student Athlete of the Month, and we're catching up. This is from the month of December, and then last month we had weather that interfered. So this is from the December recognition, and the athlete could not be here that evening because she had a game. But it does give me great pleasure to, at this point, recognize Winton Woods High School. I believe she's a senior, and that is on the girls' varsity basketball team. Please help me recognize and celebrate Whitley Davis.
My daughter played with her. What was Whitney?
Just a bit about the Skyline Student Athlete of the Month, because we'll also make sure we recognize the February athlete as well. To be nominated for this award, students must maintain an academic standard of 3.0 GPA or higher in the previous quarter, show respect for coaches, teammates, officials, teachers, and other students and family, show enthusiasm and a positive attitude, display commitment to practice, games, and personal skill development, demonstrate honesty and playing by the rules, have high moral character. The Skyline Student Athlete of the Month Award is sponsored by the Forest Park Skyline Chili Restaurant, a business partner of Winton Woods City Schools, and students who are honored will receive a Skyline gift certificate or gift card. Also, congratulations, Whitley. At this time, it also gives me great pleasure to announce the February 2026 Skyline Student Athlete of the Month with a 3.5 GPA, 12th grade wrestler, Mr. Kenneth Bailey III. I'd love to read some of the nomination that was shared by Mr. Rayshawn Armston, Winton Woods High School wrestling coach. Kenneth Bailey is a senior leader of the Winton Woods wrestling team whose impact goes far beyond the mat. A dedicated 4-year member of the program, Kenneth has consistently led by example through his work ethic, accountability, and commitment to excellence. Maintaining a 3.5 GPA He demonstrates the balance of academic focus and student or athletic discipline for a student that defines the true student athlete. As a team leader, Kenneth sets the standard in the room. He pushes his teammates to be better and represents Winton Woods with pride, integrity, and resilience. His leadership and consistency have helped shape the culture of the program, leaving a lasting legacy for those to follow. Congratulations, Kenneth. Now we turn to the Skyline Teacher of the Month Award. A little bit about this particular award. To be nominated for this, the criteria are the following: excellence in the classroom, motivation by encouraging and motivating students to surpass their expectations, both academically and socially, leadership by having a positive attitude with students, parents, colleagues, and the community, creativity and imagination by demonstrating such in teaching and in a way that inspires students to learn, dedication by showing excellent attendance, punctuality, and overall dependability, and finally, communication in communicating effectively to their classrooms, parents, colleagues, and beyond. The Skyline Teacher of the Month Award is sponsored by the Forest Park Skyline Chili Restaurant, a business partner of Winton City Schools, and the teachers who are honored in this way will receive a Skyline gift certificate. Gives me great pleasure this evening at this point to recognize February 2026 Skyline Teacher of the Month from Winton Woods Project Success, Mr. Patrick Reister. This is a nomination written from Mix Charlie Owens, Director of Project Success. There are some people who carry good with them wherever they go. They light up rooms and soften spirits by nature of who they are. When people like this become teachers, they have a ripple effect, and that reaches far beyond the walls of their classroom. Mr. Reister is that kind of person and teacher. He is the first to volunteer to support the staff. This year alone, he came in over the summer to help revise our building handbook and set our dates for the district calendar and participate in student intake meetings. He agreed to be the Resident Educator Summative Assessment Mentor for a newly licensed teacher, stepped into the role as an onboarding mentor for a veteran teacher who is new to our team, and he established and maintained our building-wide PBIS, that's Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports, incentive, walking the steps to success on the Warrior Way. He is also the first one to share student successes, celebrate their achievements, and create opportunities for connection. This year, he nominated one of our Project Success students as the Student of the Month to be recognized at a board meeting, just like this one, which I believe was the first time that may have happened. He also invited the founder and trainer to form a trainer from the gym, Trilogy Fitness, to come in to talk with students about starting a business and what it means to live healthy. And he keeps the hallway screen up to date with information that students need to know from the themes for Spirit Week and also who's hiring in the community. But bigger than all of this is the impact Mr. Reister makes by being a living embodiment of our core values. He makes people feel important. He listens with grace and without judgment. And he does that to the best of his ability on the first time, just to name a few. On many more than one occasion, Mr. Reister's number has been the one I've called for guidance and help as I've been learning this particular role. To put it simply, I am more successful, our staff is more successful, our students are more successful because of Mr. Reister's ability to go after greatness, not just for himself, but for the rest of us as well. It is with humble gratitude that I nominate Mr. Pat Reister as the Skyline Teacher of the Month. Congrats, Mr. Reister. The next recognition this evening is a collaborative award between Winton Woods City Schools and Hamilton County Jobs and Family Services, or JFS. We have a program collectively that we join forces to implement called KISSR. That's short for Kids in School Rule. And it is a support program that's intended to help foster students and students who find themselves in the foster care system. This particular educational professional in our schools works at Winton Woods High School, and she was nominated to receive the GOAT Award, or Greatest of All Time, by the KISSER Program and Hamilton County Jobs and Family Services. This award is bestowed upon those who have a demonstrated commitment to supporting students in foster care. The GOAT Award was presented to this person at the KISSER kickoff meeting at the Forest Park Library earlier this year. Please help me welcome and congratulate counselor for grades 9 through 12, last name L through Z, Ms. Kim Goins. Congrats, Ms. Goins. Thank you. The next award this evening, or recognition, is actually a series of school awards as well as a district-level award, and I'll explain a bit more about that. And we would like to honor several people with this, in fact, an entire team. Some of them could make it this evening and some could not. But I'd also like to especially acknowledge Ms. Tanya Bray, Executive Director of Student Services, and the district's PBIS Coordinator. Again, PBIS is Positive Behavior Interventions and Supports. These awards are from the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce, and it's a particular recognition for schools that have attained state-level recognition for the PBIS program. We'd like to make sure we acknowledge Wintonwood's Early Childhood Campus with a bronze recognition, Wintonwood's Middle School with a bronze recognition, Wintonwood's Primary School, Elementary School, and Intermediate School at South Campus with a silver recognition. And because 80% or more of the schools in the district received that recognition status, the Department of Education and Workforce has also awarded the same level award to Wintonwood City Schools as a district recognition for PBIS implementation with quality and fidelity. I'd like to be sure to acknowledge the team members, and as I read their name, if they would come forward, joined by Ms. Tanya Bray, that would be fantastic. The following staff are members of the district PBIS team: Ms. Haley Backscheider, Ms. Lynn Blaylock, Mr. Matt Brown, Ms. Lisa Butts, Ms. Reagan Castro, Mr. Aaron Chenault, Mr. Dewey Copley, Dewey Williams as well, Mr. Jeremy Day, Ms. Julie Demboski, Ms. Lisa Giblin, Mr. Andrew Gleason, Mr. Austin Green, Dr. Craig Hanthorn, Mr. Jaquil Hargrove, Ms. Rhonda Hobbs, Ms. Naisha James, Ms. Puspa Kaffley, Mr. Sam Lotz, Dr. Adrian Martin, Ms. Charlie Owens, Dr. Tamara Ragland, Ms. Jeannie Rankin, Mr. Jeffrey Ryle, Ms. Augustina Sanchez, and Ms. Courtney Wilson. Please join me in applause.
Act like you like each other.
Yeah.
I can't remember. They can't see me anyway. They can't see us back here. Real deep up there.
Team, thank you for all your efforts to make our learning environment the best it could possibly be for our young people. Matters. It makes a huge difference. We move on now to School Board Recognition Month. School Board Recognition Month is in recognition of the efforts and the service and leadership of boards of education, in particular, the Winton City Schools Board of Education. The students, staff, and communities of Winton City Schools join the Ohio School Board Association to honor the exemplary leadership, service, and endless hours of dedication given by our elected board members. And this is on behalf of the school district and its communities. We thank our board member, President Ms. Angela Knighton, Vice President Mr. Bill Spielman, and board members Ms. Deborah Bryant, Ms. Kayla Miller, and Mr. Brandon Smith. We also should have this evening representative from Wentwood High School, student council, or at least the building, to help present certificates of appreciation on behalf of the OSBA to our board members.
Ms. Deborah D. Bryant. Miss Angela Knighton. Miss Kayla Miller. Mr. Brandon Smith. Mr. William Spielman.
Thank you so much. And also this evening, you see we have some posters that were signed by buildings in the district, the 4 different campuses that are representative of that. And then there's also some other goodies that students have produced for the board as well. So, board, we appreciate you. Thank you for your leadership and service. I also have just been informed that we have 2 special guests with us this evening, and we want to just say thank you for being here. And that is Springfield Township trustees, 2 of them have arrived and have joined us this evening. And that's Miss Saria Lattimore and Miss Lisa Youngblood. So thanks for being here this evening. Lastly, board, we have 2 gifts to recognize this evening. We appreciate the generosity of those in the community in support of our students and their efforts and their growth and achievement. The first is a recognition of the Green Hills Forest Park Kiwanis Club. And so, Mr. Bell, if you could come forward, that would be fantastic. They donated $1,000 to the Winton High School Choral Program to replace and or upgrade body pack microphones for the program. Thank you on behalf of the district, Mr. Bell. And finally, we have a donation valued at just under $2,000 for use by the Winton High School football team during the 2025 season. The district would like to thank and acknowledge Mr. and Mrs. Bill Spielman for this valuable donation in protein milk. Thank you very much. On behalf of our athletics program, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Board, that concludes, Board, that concludes this segment of honors, recognitions, gifts, and bequests.
Thank you so much, Superintendent Denny. And again, congratulations to all of our award recipients. Thank you for being here this evening. We definitely appreciate it. And again, like I said earlier, this is our favorite part of the night. We get to honor you and recognize you. And I cannot thank you all enough for just recognizing us and appreciating us for School Board Appreciation Month. It is definitely an honor to serve you all in this community. So thank you. The next item on our agenda is 3.01, public comments. Mr. DeMark, do we have any public comments this evening?
We do. A lady named Diana Herbie. You could come up, please.
Okay, Ms. Herbie. If you could come up to the,
Could state your name and your address.
My name is Diana Herbie. I'm at 744 Decatur Court in Forest Park, and I'm here representing Waycross Community Media. After my visit last year, I thought it would be a good idea to come back maybe once a year and give you a recap of the coverage that Waycross has done of the Winton Woods School District in the previous year. So last year, in 2025, Waycross Community Media produced nearly 80 programs covering Winton Woods School District events. They aired live 13 board meetings, ensuring that residents had access to district information and coverage of recognitions like this evening. They also produced 36 Winton Woods sports programs and covered 2 parades of Winton Woods teams. They produced 19 programs that included high school concert performance and coverage of elementary school students learning new songs and instruments. 8 Warrior Supercast programs highlighted students and teachers explaining events taking place in the district. And all but one of last year's summer workshop students were students from the Winton Woods School District. These students studied under award-winning photographer and videographer Glenn Hartung and Waycross staff members, and then created and produced their own film. Now, 80 programs might not sound like much when you consider the airtime that Waycross has across 4 channels, but programs like Board of Education meetings and sports and concerts are not just aired live, but also recorded and re-aired on multiple platforms, not just limited to the television channels, but also to the internet and to media platforms like YouTube and TikTok. All of this is done with a very small staff and a cadre of volunteers. And many of those volunteers are students who come away with industry skills and experience, and some of them actually go on into the industry. But Waycross is always looking for volunteers, among others, in the community. So if you have an interest in learning about television and media broadcasting and would be interested in volunteering, then contact Waycross Media at 513-825-2429 or at info@waycross.org. And we look forward to continuing to cover the district and surrounding communities as we have done for over 40 years. Thank you. And I'll see you next year.
thank you so much. Mr. DeMark, was that the only public comment?
That is it.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is 4.01. That is a recess. At this time, we will take a brief recess of no more than 5 minutes. For those that were here for the award recognition, you are free to leave at this time if you'd like. The rest of the board meeting is very procedural, so thank you. All right, thank you and welcome back. We will continue on with the agenda to item 5.01, Winton Woods Teachers Association, WWTA. Do we have a representative from WWTA with us? Seeing none, we will move on to 5.02, Ohio Association of Public School Employees, OPSE. Do we have a representative from OPSE today? Perfect, come on up, sir, thank you. Come right up here to the podium. Good evening.
Thank you very much. Good evening. My name is Dante Dukes, president of OPSE, and on behalf of the members and myself, we wish y'all a happy and safe spring break. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you. You have a good evening. Wonderful. Next on the agenda is item 6.01, the waiving of the reading of the minutes. Board, a motion is in order.
Madam President, I'd like to move we waive the reading of the minutes for the following meetings: the regular meeting, January 26th, 2026, and the work session meeting, February 9th, 2026.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. It's been moved and second. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, Mr. DeMark, will you call for the vote?
Mr. Spielman,
Aye.
Ms. Bryant,
Aye.
Ms. Miller,
I can, support the work session for February 9th, but I was not present for January 26th.
Okay, so you're gonna abstain for January 26th,
Abstaining for January 26th,
and then,
and then, approving February 9th.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Knighton,
aye. Thank you so much. So January 26th passes with 4, 1 abstention, and February 9th passes unanimously. Appreciate that. 6.02, approval of the minutes, calls for a motion. Board?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
And a second.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been motioned and seconded. Are there any questions or discussion? Seeing none, Mr. DeMark, would you call for the vote, please?
Mr. Spielman,
Aye.
Ms. Bryant,
Aye.
Ms. Miller,
Aye.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Knighton.
Aye. Thank you. That vote passes unanimously. On to 7.01, Treasurer's Report, the financial statements for January. Mr. DeMark, you have the floor.
Yes, Board, you'll see on item 6.1, your financial statements reflect all activities for the month ended January 31st. On page 1, you'll have your bank reconciliation for January of 2026. Page 2 presents the general fund revenues. Your total year-to-date revenues are $35.7 million. The month-to-date revenues are $4.1 million, which consists of $1.4 million in real estate taxes and $2.7 million in foundation. Page 3 and 4 present the general fund expenditures by object and by function. Your total year-to-date expenses are $39.3 million, which also includes about $645,000 in January HSA contributions. Page 5 presents the year-to-date financial activity for all funds. District had an unencumbered balance of all funds at January 31st of approximately $19.1 million. And this lists the balance of each individual fund is listed on page 5.
Thank you, Mr. DeMark, for the information and again for filling in. Any questions, Board? All right, seeing none, please let the notes reflect that the financial statements presented have been reviewed and can be filed for audit. Next on the agenda is Treasurer's Recommendations, 8.01, Investment Reports for January 2026. Mr. DeMark, you have the floor.
Yes, you have before you the investments for the month of January 2026. Your investment balance at January 31st is $28.1 million. The interest earned during the month was $52,946 at interest rates ranging anywhere between 0.5% and 3.99%. The interest revenue breakdown between the general fund and the building fund is $40,674 for the general fund and $12,272 for the building fund.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Board, a motion is in order.
Madam President, I move we approve the investment report as presented.
I second the motion.
Great, it's been motioned and seconded. Are there any questions or discussion?
Just a comment. So normally we're making, our lowest has been 90 to 102,000 and as high as 141,000. And all about the same amount. This month it's only just under 53,000.
Yeah,
That's the variableness of interest rates.
it's wild. You just never know what a month can bring,
Yeah. Mhm. Just,
unfortunately.
you know, it cut our interest income in half, more than half compared to other months.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
sure.
All right, seeing no more questions, Mr. DeMarco, will you call for the vote?
Sure. Mr. Spielman?
Aye, and I'd like higher interest rates.
Wouldn't we all? Ms. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Miller?
Just for this.
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Knight?
Aye. That vote passes unanimously. Thank you. 8.02, resolutions to authorize filing of board revision complaint. Mr. DeMarc, I'm going to give you the floor back.
Hold on, I lost my place here. Hang on one second. There we go, okay. A motion is moved to approve the resolutions to authorize filing of 2 Board of Revision complaints as presented. The first one is the Chromium Ventures LLC on 11820 Kemper Springs Drive. It's valued at $468,290, and it's sold for $1.3 million. The second is the MTM Cincy LLC building. It is at 11158 Adwood Drive. It's valued at $1,545,040, and it's sold for $3,317,500.
Okay. Board, a motion is in order.
I make a motion to approve the resolutions to authorize filing of the Board of Revision complaints as presented for Chromium Ventures LLC and MTM Cincinnati LLC.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. It's been motioned and seconded. Are there any questions or discussion?
Just a comment. So do you know why they valued at one price and sold significantly higher?
I do not. Mr. Day, you, okay. I'm not 100% sure on that one. I'll get back to you, though.
They just wanted it.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Valued at 1.5, we're gonna sell for 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Funny math.
I mean, I think we're seeing that a lot just in the market
Yeah.
where
Yeah, we
properties
are.
are selling for a lot more than what they've been previously valued at.
Right.
And it's basically what people are willing to pay for it.
Exactly.
And so since there's such a big difference, the district is saying, okay, well, if you're gonna value it at
Then
that,
we need our money.
Yeah.
we're gonna
Minus our
reevaluate the
tax.
taxes. Yeah.
Yes.
And just for people that might watch this, we only do that with commercial property.
Correct.
We don't do
Yeah.
that with residential property.
Yeah.
Correct.
So if you sell a property, if you buy a property for more than its value, we will go after the extra taxes.
Perfect.
That's all I have.
Okay.
All right, seeing no more discussion, Mr. DeMarc, would you call for the vote?
Mr. Spielman?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Knighton?
Aye. That vote passes unanimously. Thank you. 8.03, financial forecast. Mr. DeMarc, I'm gonna give it back to you.
Get it up here. Okay, so you'll have your financial forecast updated. As of this year, which has changed from previous years, we are required to submit financial forecasts twice a year annually, as you know, August and February. This is our February submission to the Ohio Department of Education. What's in these forecasts? You'll see that, oh boy, here we go. You have your general fund only. So we'll go through our projected revenues. As you can see from the chart, our revenues are, they rise for a little bit and then they kind of stagger off to a tad. It's mostly consists of your real estate taxes, your public utility, and your unrestricted and restricted state foundation money. Kind of dive into that a little bit. So under the assumptions we're presenting with the current state funding, we have our fair share funding plan that's in the process of implementation and is in the process of being fully funded by next year. Right now, it is currently funded at 83.4%, and next year it's going to be funded fully at 100%. So that's probably why you see, if I go back to this slide, you'll see kind of the revenues are tailing off a little bit because the formula is funding itself, but then beyond that, there's no real measure of base cost increases or anything really like that at this point. So we'll go to this one, dive into the numbers a little more. Your unrestricted state support that we're projecting to get is about 27.7 million. The restricted state support is about 4.8 million, giving your total about 32,473,000. The restricted state categories are as follows that we're projecting to get in. The disadvantaged pupil impact aid, we're projecting to get in about 2.7 million there. Gifted, we're projected to get in 147,000. The English learners amount we're projected to get in about 704,000. Student wellness, 791,470. And you have your catastrophic costs, which is basically your special ed threshold costs. As you know, board, this is educational costs that exceed the threshold to educate our special ed kids. We can ask for reimbursement for that, and typically we're projecting in about 450,000 for that each year. So here's kind of a little bit, another graph that kind of represents our state funding, which I was kind of talking about briefly earlier. As you can see, the numbers kind of rise as the formula presents itself, as you'll get it to the highest point with the implementation by fiscal 27. And then the amounts kind of just level off because, as I said before, we have no updates to our base cost increase since FY22, and it's kind of hard to fund your schools when they're not giving you increases on the cost it takes to run a district. Next thing we'll dive into is projected revenue for real estate taxes. Our most recent assessed property valuation comes in at 587,140 for residential, commercial about 147,484,000. Public utility, about 34,700,000, which gives you a rough total of 769,301,000. Now, in this forecast, we're also proposing an increase of $118 million in collection year 2027 for valuation, because we have our annual update is coming up. And that's what we're kind of projecting based on, I mean, it could be even higher than that. I'm not sure. We looked at that based on what we got in, collection year 2024, and that was an increase of about $196 million, which was about a 34% increase. So based on the numbers that we had, what other counties are getting in their most recent triennial valuation, this is the amount that they kind of, the experts that talk to us about it, we're thinking we're gonna get. So so a bigger increase is coming in collection year 2027. So our real estate collections, we're projecting to get in this year 23.5 million, public utility about 2.5 million as well. As in previous years and kind of what we're projecting going forward, our real estate taxes are pretty stagnant, pretty increasing slightly, nothing that jumps really off the map there, so that's pretty much to be expected, I believe. I'm gonna dive into a couple legislative bills that are kind of making the rounds. This one doesn't affect the district to an extent because it mostly is capping growth at the 20 mil and 2 mil floor for this House Bill 186. It'll cap property tax growth at the 2 mil floor based on to the amount of inflation, but it also uses a GDP deflator over the 3 preceding years to calculate what the cap is. Let's see. So to define what gross domestic product is, it's kind of a broad measure of how prices have increased across the whole economy. It's almost similar to what inflation is, but that uses consumer price index. But the GDP is a little broader. It reflects changes in prices for everything the economy produces, not just the consumer goods. The next one probably affects the district more so. affects a lot of districts, really. House Bill 335 is really capping the growth on our inside millage. It'll cap revenue, so this House bill is gonna cap revenue growth from the inside millage up to what the inflation is, which is also measured by the GDP deflator over the last 3 years. This will start applying beginning in tax year 2026 for counties undergoing reappraisal or triennial update, which will be us. This requires the County Budget Commission in September of the reappraisal or update year to make these adjustments. Another note that we wanted to make you aware of, the notice and election changes. All current expense levy notices must include carryover cash balance information. This notice must show how the carryover as a percent of expenses and a dollar amount of what the cash would be. And they also don't want us using the terminology appraised value anymore. We have to use a market value. This other House Bill 309 that's coming down the pipe, or it's already here really, allows your county budget commissioners to reduce any voter-approved levy, with the exception of debt levies, to bring taxes levied within levels that the county budget commission finds reasonable and prudent in order to avoid unnecessary or excessive collections. So what unnecessary collections are any collections beyond a reasonably anticipated financial needs of the taxing authority, which is our district, after considering fund balances, projected expenditures, and other available resources. Now, the County Budget Commission is made up of our county auditor, the treasurer, and the prosecuting attorney. Although Rainey and I discussed this a little bit, we know our county auditor well, and we think she'll work with all the schools to make sure that we really don't lose money on that. So I wouldn't say that's a high level of concern for this district right now. You'll have your other operating revenues. Those are mostly projected to be the same, with the exception of interest revenue, which is we're projecting to decline. As funds available are declining, your interest rates are declining, naturally it will lead to less interest revenue each year. So now we'll move on to projected expenses. So here's a chart that kind of shows how our expenses rise each year, with our mainly being personnel services, salaries, which is salaries, your benefits, and purchase services are our main ones, sprinkled in there, supplies and materials, capital outlay, and any other miscellaneous expenses as well. The assumptions we're making on the salaries, this hasn't changed, just so you know, from our previous forecast either. It includes all our negotiated agreements. It includes step increases for all years, fiscal 26 through 30, and a modest cost of living increase for 27 only. Your expenditure assumptions, we're assuming for benefits, we have included in there retirement and Medicare associated with salary increases. We're projecting a 7.5 increase for all years in healthcare insurance, a 10% increase for all years in dental insurance. Purchase services, we're projecting a 3% increase. Same thing with supplies and materials. Our capital outlay forecast also includes a higher expense for 27 and 29 because every other year we purchase 2 buses in our budgets. So this is the chart that kind of gave me a little pause when I was going through this that we're generating. As you can see, historically, our revenue is growing at the same rate as our expenses, 4.79% versus 4.5%. We're projected to increase our expenses by 5.1%. It's not unreasonable given our history, but the big thing gave me pause with all the reform going on and the fact that the formula is maxing out is the 1.41% projected annual revenue that we're going to get between now and FY30. Another chart that kind of illustrates this is our total funds available for expenses. You see your receipts are in the blue line, the expenditures are in your red line, and the cash total funds available are in the green. So as you can see, if the red exceeds the blue, each year, the green line steadily goes down until it meets at a certain point in FY '30 where the funds available aren't there. Here's another chart that kind of shows this. You have our projected revenues and expenses, revenues in green, expenditures in blue. That black line you see is the cash balance. So as the blue exceeds the green, the black line steadily declines. Here's another good chart on what our projected cash balance will be. It shows anywhere, last year we had 19.9 million, and then as your expenses eat into your revenues, you see the projected cash balance just slowly decline over time. So. At this time, I'll entertain any questions you might have.
You take it first, Bill.
Do we have to make a motion first?
Oh, you know what? Yes, we do.
No,
Make a motion before we discuss it.
Oh, yeah. Board of motions in order.
I would like to make a motion to approve the financial forecast for fiscal years 2026 through 2030 as presented.
I'll second.
Thank you. It's been motioned and seconded. And now any questions or discussion?
So you said in '24, property income went up 169,000?
Well, the valuation went up about, let's see, 196 million.
Okay.
So that was the big triennial increase that we had then. That was a 34% increase.
And so you're saying in '28, was that the year?
Collection 27, we'll get 118 million we're projecting with our next triennial update.
Okay.
It honestly could be more. I don't know. That was more just a projection of what other counties around there were doing, our consultation with the experts that know more than Randy and I about it. And so, yeah.
If you go back to this page,
Yeah. Back to that.
was towards the very beginning.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the green amount there is increasing every month. And from 23 to 26, and a little bit in 27.
Right.
And then it actually looks, I drew a line, I printed that out and drew a
Yeah.
line. And it's actually decreases some of those years from, so it's not even going up, it's
Yeah.
going down.
So the main reason why it's decreasing slightly in 29 and 30 is the states put out something, and we didn't qualify for it this year because it's over the last 4 years. If you have a 5% overall enrollment increase, you get what's called an enrollment growth supplement. It's just something the state put in their funding. That's what they wanted to do. I don't know the rhyme or reason behind it. Talked to Mr. Denny about it. We're not sure why either, just whatever. They're trying to basically promote districts to have enrollment growth. So fiscal 26, we're not projected to get that. Now in 27 and 28, if you maintain an enrollment growth, and thereafter, if you maintain an enrollment growth over the previous 4 years of 3%, you will get an enrollment growth supplement. And in 27 and 28, I'm predicting that based on what our enrollment numbers have historically been. I don't think I can't really reasonably predict that for 29 and 30 at this point. Could happen, but at this point where the projections are, that's why you're seeing that slightly. And the enrollment growth supplement's about $990,000 to $1 million. So it'd be nice to get it, but
It's
who
not,
knows?
it doesn't solve the problem.
No, it does not. Definitely does not.
Okay.
And if I might, Board, just,
Yeah.
Mr. DeMar, could you comment a little bit about, even though the property valuation is going up, that does not necessarily translate into greater revenue for the district?
Right, so when your property values go up, we're assuming you see a 15% increase. We're thinking, a normal person would think, I would think anyway, well, sure enough, our revenues are gonna increase by 15%, right? Not necessarily. The state has enacted with that House Bill 335, it caps the growth, caps your growth on there. So what the formula was intended to do, and what it was intended to do at the time, was take into account your local evaluations too. So it feels like the state is basically saying, okay, well, your local evaluations are going up. You don't need our money. You're getting all this tax. They think the formula is designed to think you're getting all this tax money revenue. Well, unfortunately, the property tax reform came into play where we're only so we have a 4.65 mil inside millage, and we're only going to be capped at 10% of it. We can only get 10% of that growth. We can only grow 10%. That's it. That's where it kind of it's stuck. Where it's like, okay, you think you're gonna grow that, but you're like stuck here, and then the state thinks you're gonna get all this money, and you're stuck there. So then you kind of in this predicament of, well, revenues are kind of they're just hanging around until the state decides to do something about it, unfortunately.
Oh, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Board, any other questions or discussion?
Just a comment, as we look through, I mean, that's why there's a need, as we see that everything's increasing. You've got dental going up, what, 10%?
10%.
Health insurance going up 7%, but our revenue and what we're getting from the state is staying relatively flat.
Yeah.
So,
I'll go back to this slide here. This was the kicker that really, where is it? Oh, shit. Hang on. Here you go.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a problem.
that is, it's scary to look at that.
It is.
Um,
That was the one that gave me pause, for sure.
okay, I'm just gonna leave it right there.
That particular graph tells a story,
Yeah.
unfortunately. I mean, and Winton Woods is not alone in this, but this is certainly our story right now. It's revenues decreasing, the amount of increase is decreasing, and expenditures, just like for everyone else, with inflation is going up.
Yep.
Sorry I couldn't present a better financial picture, but this is where we are right now.
You just deflated the whole.
It's reality.
It is reality, though.
That's what you want to know?
Really, thank you for the information.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you. Mr. DeMark, would you call for the vote, please?
Mr. Spielman,
Aye.
Ms. Bryant,
Aye.
Ms. Miller,
Aye.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Knighton.
Aye, thank you. That vote passes unanimously, and with that, we will move on to the next item agenda, which is reports of the superintendent. 9.01, school reports. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you, Ms. Knighton, and good evening again, Board. Board, you should have before you the upcoming school events report. And just to draw your attention to a couple highlights as we peruse that. We do have a middle school, high school band showcase tomorrow evening. ACT testing coming up for our juniors. On Wednesday, we also have academic quiz team coming up, and academic quiz team tournament is coming up Wednesday, March 4th, so we're excited for them to go compete there. We have OMEA competitions coming up this weekend, Friday and Saturday. That's at Anderson High School this time. So we wish all of our musical artists luck, our student musicians luck, and best wishes at that particular adjudication event. Middle school, high school orchestra coming up Thursday, orchestra concert. So a lot of concerts coming up. OMEA district band and choir adjudications at Walnut Hills, not this Friday, but the following Friday, March 6th. Fourth quarter ends March 12th, so a reminder to our kids and families to be sure they are diligent with their studies as we approach the end of the quarter. Hard to believe fourth quarter is coming up already, but here we are. One of our biggest and most enjoyable, rewarding events of the school year is coming up Thursday, March 12th. It is the Showcase of Excellence for the middle school, high school. That's our North Campus showcase. That's 5:30 to 7:30 at North Campus. And excited about that. And finally, one other highlight would be spring break coming up toward the end of March, March 23rd and 27th. The board, that concludes the highlights from the upcoming school events report.
Thank you so much. Mr. Denny, I'm going to give it back to you for 9.02, student achievement report.
Thank you very much, Ms. Knighton. Board, this evening, we have something special that we're going to present. It'll be this month and the following 2 months, we will have school level reports. So it's a chance to hear from our field administrators, our building leaders, our school principals. Just due to time constraints, this is not intended to be an exhaustive report. It's intended to highlight best practices happening at our schools. So Board, this report will be presented by Mr. Eric Martin, Principal at Winton Woods High School, Mr. Adib Dixon, Principal at Winton Woods Middle School, and Ms. Charlie Owens, Director of Alternative Programs from Project Success. So they would approach at this time and share some of the highlights and progress being made at the buildings. Thought that the community and the board would benefit from being able to hear some of these things. It's good things.
You can go to my first slide. One more. Awesome. Great evening, board members.
Good evening.
You guys sound so nice. Great evening. Get some energy here.
Great evening.
All right, awesome. So we're going to try to stick to the timeline. Mr. Denny was specific about 5 minutes. I can't really say hi in 5 minutes, so I don't know how that's gonna work, but I'm gonna do my best, okay? All right. So one of the things that I wanted to share this evening is the high school's MTSS process. MTSS stands for Multi-Tier Systems of Support, all right? There's two things within the high school works that I'm extremely proud of. One of them is project-based learning. You know, being a whole district, project-based learning district is amazing. I'm wholeheartedly into it and I love it. The second thing is probably this MTSS process that we've created here at the high school. So what I've presented for you in the next few slides is just an overview on what that looks like for the high school, all right? MTSS is that catch-all of everything in terms of making sure we're equipped and we're giving everything we have for our young people. Typically, MTSS involves a lot of intervention. And if you've been around high school people, intervention really has not been a part of the high school world. We're trying to get kids to get those credits so they can meet graduation requirements. So it really challenged high schools to really think long, deep, and hard about figuring out how do you add intervention into an already long day where you're trying to gain credits, and that is the purpose in the high school world. So what I have for you right now is just an overview of what our MTSS system looks like, and I just want to make sure that you guys understand your high school is one of only probably 3 high schools in Ohio who has a pretty robust MTSS process. So it's not easy to do this at the high school level, right? So what you have in front of you is just an idea in terms of what a month looked like at the high school. So it starts with the early warning system. You can click it one time. All right. So the early warning system is an opportunity for us to meet and focus on the areas throughout the MTSS process. It's a multi-tier systems of support. However, at that table, you have myself, you have a principal that's focusing mainly on academics, you have a principal focusing mainly on behavior, you have a counselor at the table who are focusing on all those additional supports that comes out of the counseling office. You also have our truancy officer and our attendance secretary. So we're all there attempting to identify the big rocks that the school needs to take care of as a whole in our committee work, but also those individual students. So that's where we're identifying the issues that our kids are facing and trying to figure out what the intervention looks like, okay? So in this process as well, when you think about it, on that initial graph that I gave you, the individual student work goes across the top of that graph. The building work goes across the bottom. And I have a hard copy so you guys can have that because I think that's important so you get a good visual on it. Push the next one. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the individual grade level MTSS meeting that the students have. In a month, the student will have 2 of those meetings, right? So the initial work starts the very first Wednesday of every month in the early warning system meeting. Within the early warning system meeting, that's where we identify the needs of the individual kids. So each grade level principal, their counselor, the school psychologist, our data coach, we sit in a room and we go over each individual kids, focusing on the areas of academics, behaviors, and attendance. So we're trying to identify what those barriers are and figuring out what's an intervention to help that kid be successful. So the little loop that you see, the diagram that I gave you, that's the actual process that happens in the meeting, right? So we identify it through the data. We figure out what the interventions are going to be. We assess impact, and we refine the intervention, and we reassess. So all of that happens in that one process. So it's a bi-weekly meeting. So that second meeting within the month, that's when we figure out what we did in the first meeting. Did it have an impact, or what was the impact? At that time, we figure out what's our next step for the student. That's where we reassess that whole process and we figure out what we're doing. Some of our kids, they move out of the intervention. Some of our kids get more interventions, and some of our students stay in that same intervention because we want to give it more time. Yeah, pass the last one. Thank you. So the next slide you see, so Mr. Day is passing out that initial diagram so you can kind of see. So the next slide is the committee work. So one of the things we attempted to do in the building to ensure that every member of our staff is part of this MTSS process and committees for our students. So the committee work is about building initiatives. So when we're in that early warning meeting, we identify what's an individual kid issue that goes along the top. We figure out what's a building issue that goes along the bottom, and it's spread out to the different committees. So in that process, that's where the committees kind of figure out what a situation is. They identify what's a possible solution. We take it to the building leadership team, and the building leadership team votes on what the committee actually came up with, and then we try to figure it out. So for example, one of the issues we had this year was the amount of passes that we were giving to kids during the instructional time. So our goal was to gain back instructional minutes. So the attendance committee decided to reduce the number of passes that a kid could get in a day from 3 to 1. We actually gained back 78,000 academic minutes. So those are the kinds of things we're trying to figure out in the big committee work. Okay, so I was asked to share with you guys 3 glows and 1 grow. So one of the glows that I'm sharing with you today is project-based learning as our primary mode of instruction. I wholeheartedly believe in project-based learning. I believe it's that deeper learning, a different way of thinking. It's a flipped kind of classroom, and our students are excelling. So another one of our glows is the large number of students participating in intervention. So one of the beautiful things about what we've done at the high school is we spend a lot of time developing our schedule, and I'm talking about our master daily schedule. So we've actually inputted an intervention block in our school day. And the goal is to balance it to ensure that you're not taking away too many academic minutes to make that happen. But we figured it out. So in the high school, we have 3 academic bells, then we go to a warrior bell. So half the kids are in that intervention block, the other half are at lunch. Then we go to a 4th bell, and then we have our second intervention block, which is warrior bell B. And then we end the day with 3 additional more courses. So kids have 7 academic bells and 1 intervention bell in their day daily. The other thing we're extremely excited about is the number of students that we've had participate in after-school tutoring. So over the last 5 years, we have really changed the game with academic tutoring. So it's where we've been able to have tutorings on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursdays. We have a number of teachers running the tutoring program, and we've seen a lot of success, and I really contribute a lot of that to our large numbers of students making honor roll. For example, this school year we had 561 kids make honor roll first quarter, and that's a little bit under 1,200 students in the high school. And second quarter we had 461. So we're super excited about those different opportunities for kids to really jump in there and get the intervention. The last piece is what you have in front of you is the multi-tier systems of support. We are extremely excited about that process in terms of what we're creating for young people and trying to do all the heavy lifting around the mandates while at the same time making sure our teachers don't feel like we're adding something new to the plate. So the multi-tier systems of support should be, and it is for the high school, our District's 1 plan and those SMART goals. It's all encompassing. So we're trying to make sure that our teachers understand. We're not asking them to do anything new. We're just trying to make it fit in our process. And my 1 grow is just that, the multi-tier systems of support. There's so much we're learning from this process and so much we're trying to add to, and we've just scratched the surface with it. So that's the high school.
Good evening. I hate having to lean into this thing. I'm going to move it. Can we give it up for Eric Martin? That was a wonderful presentation. I asked Jeffrey to help me with some AV here. Give me a second. My name is Adib Dixon. I'm the lead principal at Winton Woods Middle School. And I am also excited to share with you the middle school's building progress. That's okay.
Did you want us to save questions till the end or at each?
So
It's
we're
at the
also,
end, But it's the, yeah,
Is
Mr.
that
Dixon,
the
sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
no,
I
we
was
good.
just saying, there's a slide at the end as typically is customary.
Oh, okay.
Do we want to stop and ask now, though?
That's
We can
fine.
change
He
it
just-
up.
I just want to make sure he doesn't leave or walk.
Okay.
He's out there. All right, cool.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. all right.
So we're also going to start talking about the early warning system at the middle school and how it has impacted our building leadership team. So the early warning system does align itself with our one plan goal one, which has to do with increasing graduation rates. Now, as you know, the middle school does not directly contribute to the graduation rate of Winton Woods City Schools. However, we do recognize that using the early warning system that we call the data dashboard, by having key staff members trained, including our administration, our coaches, and our BLT, that we can use that data to really hone in on students who need extra support. We took this data in the data dashboard to create this building leadership team macro level look at what we need to do to better support students who are at risk for grades, academics, or attendance. Behavior or attendance. And with that, we then have broken into subcommittees similar to the high school to put a lot more intentionality in the micro process of supporting students. In regards to our one plan goal two, which is literacy, we have updated and revised our local literacy plan. As you know, Winton Woods City Schools was awarded the Comprehensive State Literacy Development Grant, and because of that, it comes with a lot of extra coaching and support. So we've increased our coaching and support through Hamilton County Educational Service Center. We've also have several tiers of intervention for our students. Tier one is the workshop model. That is a New Tech Network student-centered learning practice card. That's where you reduce the number, the student-teacher ratio to really hone in on specific instruction for students. So all kids in our building get the tier one. Teachers are expected to have at least one workshop every week. When we first started, getting teachers to get to that one seemed to be a big lift. Where we are now, we have teachers who are doing it every single day. So it's really, really catching on. We also have tiers of intervention for our literacy classes. Outside of the tier one, we have tier two, which is Reading Lab. Reading Lab focuses on comprehension. We have Reading Rewards, which focuses on phonemic awareness and decoding. And then we have tier three, which is Hegarty, which focuses on those early literacy skills and is basically for students who are who need very targeted support or are English learners. We also support literacy through advisory for students with disabilities, which is also another tier three. Our professional development this year has focused on content area reading strategies, explicit vocabulary, and of course, we know the district and the state has a big push for the science of reading. Moving on to goal three, this is to increase math achievement. We are going through a high quality instructional material adoption. Dr. Ragland Teaching and Learning has done a wonderful job of providing professional development every single month and also job embedded professional development. That actually comes through the third bullet of our math coach. Last year was the first time we've had a math coach in a very long time, and she was only here 1 day a week. Ms. Nicole Dosois is now here 4 days a week and is embedded in that math department. She is doing excellent work along with Kendall Persons, the facilitator, and the math department is really working to revamp how we are delivering instruction and supporting students. That also comes through our tiers of intervention. We have a tier two class called Math Lab. In Math Lab, students get high dosage tutoring through Varsity Tutors. They also get individualized learning plans through Exact Path and Zern. And speaking of Zern, we've also reshaped our instructional framework because when you go through a high quality instructional material adoption, there's some familiarity that teachers have to gain. So we lose some of that mastery that teachers have with the old material. And in order to cut down on that learning loss, we've supplemented with Zern, which the state has shown and data has shown when students have 3 at grade level lessons a week in Zern, that has increased math achievement by no less than 5 points in each category. So Zern's been a wonderful addition. Also, all of our math teachers had an opportunity to attend the Ohio Council of Teachers of Mathematics. This is the first time since I've been in leadership at the middle school that every single math teacher had an opportunity to do that. And the learning that they came back with, they were really excited for it. So that was wonderful. Moving on to our last goal. This is related to our one plan goal 1 and 4 for attendance and behavior. We are addressing specifically chronic absenteeism with students with disabilities and English learners. And to do this, we've created 2 specific incentives per quarter. We also have 2 communications per quarter addressing individual needs. This is done through the ESL tutor, the advisory teacher, and administration. So every single kid will get, hey, you're doing wonderful, look at where your data point was, or we really would like for you to come to school more often, how can we support you? In regards to behavior, our PBIS incentives and campaigns, we do 2 to 3 of those per quarter. Each of those has an increasing behavioral component to it. The first one is designed to be universal. We want all students to be involved and invited, but then we also want to recognize students for positive behavior by having strategic criteria for students to have to achieve in order to attend. We also have started the Golden Ticket campaign. We started that last year. Somebody once told me that if I ever got pulled over for not speeding and got in a prize for that it would keep me from doing that in the future instead of getting the ticket for speeding. So when we see students do wonderful things, we're giving out these golden tickets, and it's in order to recognize and reward, we see you, you're showing the warrior way, and this is excellent. We also have a directive from myself and the administrative team that teachers make positive contacts. We request that each teacher make 1 positive contact home from each class a week, and administrators file suit too. So if I am not able to see something in the building that I would like to do a positive contact for, I will also survey my team, the secretaries, the lunch ladies, everybody, and say, who do you see? Let me be that person that can give you voice and put you in contact with that parent. We also have developed some very strategic partnerships. We continue with Dream Builders University. We continue with Talbot House, and we also added the Boys and Girls Club this year, which has been a real game changer for us. So I told you all that. So what? Glow number 1, as Superintendent Denny announced earlier, the middle school did receive the PBIS Bronze Award for 2025. I feel like we should have gotten this a long time ago. I feel like we should have been at silver, I'm gonna be honest with you. But I am happy that we finally got the recognition that the team deserves because they've worked super hard. My glow number 2 is that last year, we exited comprehensive school improvement status. Comprehensive school improvement status means that Winton Woods Middle School was performing in the lowest 5% of the state. And every staff meeting that I have, I look around and I tell them, you are not teachers of the lowest 5%. And when I see my students, I say, you are not the lowest 5%. And because of our strategic planning and our tiers of intervention, you have to be able to show progress, and it's a moving target, for 2 years in a row out of a 3-year period. As quickly as we went in, we were able to get out. And I am very proud to say that we also just got an email last week that says that not only did we stay out of comprehensive school improvement, we have met all the indicators to not have a status at all. So the middle school is really that team is doing something wonderful. All right, thank you for that. My glow number 3 is if you can see at the top graph in 2025, you can see that from 2024, every single tested subject area except for Mathematics 7 has increased by 5% or more, which meets the 1 goal plan. Also, if you look at the bottom graph, and this is something that I'm extremely proud of, the graph for growth and value added for the first time in 5 years, the middle school has had expected or exceeding growth in every single tested subject area for value added. But but we have a lot of work to do. And one of them is that grow. As you can see, Mathematics 7 only had 5% achievement, and that's not good enough. So with the high quality instructional materials adoption, with our tiers of intervention, we are strategically putting a lot of time and energy behind our math department to increase not only our achievement, but our growth, and also that sense of self-efficacy within our staff. So forgive me for my scratchy voice, but I am happy to pass it on to Mix Charlie Owens at Project Success.
Thank you, Mr. Dixon.
Hi, I brought notes. So I'm Charlie, I'm the leader of Project Success this year. And we talk about the Warrior Way as walking the steps to success on the Warrior Way. So I thought it would be nice to explain to you kind of what your best kept secret in the district is. So we are a 12-person team. When I made these slides, we had served 132 students. We're now up to 137 students. We consider ourselves an alternative path to school-based success. Our student population does fluctuate over the course of the year, and we have students for a variety of reasons. So most of our students are by team decision, so for being credit deficient. We also do have a growing number of students who are seeking an alternative path due to like mental health reasons. The main campus is too overwhelming or too triggering, so they come to us for a smaller environment. We do have some students who are in lieu of expulsion, like the disciplined kids, but that's not the majority of our population. And then a special note with like home instruction, those are the kids that can't physically come into the school building to learn due to like health reasons. When we talk about graduation, we say graduation is the minimum. So the least that you can do with us is graduate on time or early. The most you can do is allow us to help you figure out your next best steps so that we can get you on the road to where you want to be. So far this year, we've had 15 students graduate early. We call that early career focus. And we have 2 juniors who are on pace to do the same way, or do the same thing. They have 17 credits so far. To be a senior in good standing, we like to want you to start your senior year with 16.5. Our big rock, you gotta be in it to win it, so for attendance. So one way that we've tried to beef up our attendance are having beat the staff challenges. So right now, the AM session, they're beating us 4-2, but in the PM, we are wiping the floor with them 5-1. So you'll see in this picture, cookie face. So you have to put a cookie on your forehead and eat it without using your hands. So Lizzie Lou was our student of the month, and then Mr. Reister, they both lost. For our glows, our staff operates out of our core values. So at the start of the school year, we sat down together and we came up with our core values as a team. And our last core value is laugh. Life is hard, but school doesn't have to be. We really believe in that saying that it's not, people won't remember what you say, but they'll remember how you make them feel. I care a lot, I feel a lot, and I expect my staff to do the same thing for our students. Our students know they belong. They want to come to school. Some of them actually say they really like it. They keep coming back. Our opportunities extend past our classroom walls. So we have some really neat partnerships with like the Goodwill Company. They come in and they work with our kids on Wednesdays and Fridays for about the whole 2-hour session on job readiness skills. We also have had a great number of guest speakers come in. So like Mr. Reister brought in Trilogy Fitness. We've also had people from Aveda, Spicer's Barbershop. We're working on getting people from Changing Gears, like the auto mechanic industry, to come in to talk to our kids. And then our grow, we need to meet each of our students and where they are as an individual. So we're working on our individualized pacing guides where we'll sit down and talk to each of our students to figure out exactly how many credits they need to earn by the end of this year to make sure that they're in good standing so that if they want to go back to the high school, they're not credit deficient and they're able to do that. Got to look at my notes because I skipped some things, so hold on one second. But I'm still under my time, so I'm good. Oh, this is really important to me. So when I was talking about walking the steps to success on the Warrior Way, I want to tell you what that means within our building. So we all know the Warrior Way is trust, respect, and responsibility. But in our building, beyond that, we focus on belonging, inclusivity, and well-being. So one of our core values with our students and with each other is to make sure that we're a place where each of us can belong. And we use the word each instead of the word all, because the word all can erase, but each is individualized, and it makes each student feel important. So that's all I wanted to leave you with. Thanks.
Questions? Okay, let me make
Oh, there are questions.
okay, we don't have to, we don't have any action, so just questions. Board?
So, Principal, on your three glows, it said a large number of students participating in intervention. Do you have any idea about how many?
So there's several, are you talking to me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So there's several interventions that we actually have. So during Warrior Bell, with every student in the building participates in intervention. We focused on the literacy grant. So we use ExactPath, where it does a diagnostic for each student in the building. They have their own individualized plan that they work during that intervention time. So also when we talk about interventions as well, I think first semester we had upwards of 500 students participating in after-school tutoring. So those interventions are very important. But for us, that Warrior Bell block is really, really important, because remember, we still have the obligation of earning credits during their academic bell time. So for us, putting those intervention blocks within the school day has been priceless.
So basically, everybody's in Warrior Bell one.
Yes,
They're the first one.
every student in the building has done a diagnostic and has an individualized plan to where they're working on their intervention. Next year, we'll add math to that as well. So they not only, this year, because we piloted, we launched the literacy grant, we focused on reading. Next year, we add math as well.
So those are your tier one?
Yes.
Those are your tier one? So how many then, do you know, like, how many kids you have, like, in tier two or tier three?
So off the top of my head, I can't tell you, but that's what happens in the grade level MTSS meetings. So they go through, so those grade level principals, they have 300 and something kids on the list. So the principals and the counselors and the psychologists, they're going to each individual kid. Some kids fall in tier two, and they have a specialized intervention that we have for them, where we identify, we'll tag specific people, give them a role, we give them a timetable of getting it finished, and then they have to come back, and then that second meeting, that's where we assess to see what's actually happening. So we have kids in all three tiers, however, but it's individualized, and that's where we find out in the MTSS meeting, grade level meetings.
And who did you say was in those grade level meetings? So it's the grade level principal, and then who else is in that?
So it's everybody who has a direct hand in behavior, academics, and attendance. So those are the three big rocks. Those are part of our District 1 plan, those things where we have to really pay attention to. And it's also part of the Each Child on Track initiative. So I'm not sure if you guys know, but Winton Woods is part of the first cohort. I think we're in year 3, Dr. Ragland? We're in year 3 of the Each Child on Track. So Winton Woods High School was one of the first. So that's the creation of the early warning system piece. So we use those same metrics and those same identifying points to kind of do this work.
I love charts like this. So in the first one, early warning system, it says the step addresses the first two phases of the problem-solving model, defining the problem and diagnosing the root cause.
Yes.
So the problem pertains to those three big rocks, correct?
Yes.
Is it
And
academic?
then what's the root cause?
So it could be anything.
Does that vary by child or by grade?
Yes. So it's by child. It's by child.
Okay.
So they go through each individual child. And to be honest, we have some students that are needing intervention in all three of those areas.
Yeah.
And it's our responsibility to try to figure it out. So, but that's by child.
So does that meeting go like round the clock?
No, it actually happens. It happens. So it's pretty cool how it happens. So the early warning system meeting is the first Wednesday. The next Tuesday is the first grade level meeting. Then there's a week in between because that's where we have our committee meeting. And then that following Tuesday is the second meeting. But it's like a 2-hour meeting, but there's a lot of work that goes on in between because we're actually tagging people to do individualized interventions with kids depending on where they are. So it's a ton of work.
I was just thinking 300 kids, that's 1,200 kids. They're not all in there, but a bunch of them are.
It's a ton of work.
Thank you.
And I will just share, I've had the opportunity to sit in with Mr. Martin and his team on both those levels of meetings. There's a massive number of spreadsheets involved that tracks the kid, the intervention, who's responsible, what the time frame is, what the tier is, how many early warning signs there are for each child, and that determines the risk level for each kid.
Thank
It's
you.
pretty impressive, though. You guys need to see it. It's pretty impressive.
We're gonna come to a meeting. So for attendance, how is that being addressed? I noticed that if you have a kid that's got chronic absenteeism, what type of interventions are they doing? And do we know the reason why they're chronically absent, right? Is it because they're working, because their family, is it transportation? I know that you guys dig down to that granular level, so what type of interventions do you put in place for that specific child, or is that how they end up in Project Success?
No, so the root cause is all of the above that you mentioned.
Okay.
So the part of the answer is for us identifying what the issue is and connecting with the parents and connecting with the students, especially at the high school age. A couple of things that we attempt to do, we want to over communicate, all right? So some things that don't look like a big intervention, but it's a massive intervention, is our weekly communication. Every Wednesday, the attendance committee, they send out a parent square to our parents, just front loading them with so much information about the attendance process, what the expectations are, how does it impact your child. One of the things that we're really excited about and we're seeing really good fruits from it is that communication about understanding the importance of turning in your doctor's notes and your parent notes. So we've been over communicating that, and we've seen a massive increase in families turning in their notes. So it's as simple as that. Some of our students, it just depends on who the kid is. We have a population of students who have to work, and they're working in situations that will blow your mind in terms of 16, 17-year-old is able to work these kind of hours. So we're trying to figure it out and create what those solutions are for them to be successful with school. So it's all over the board. It's all across the board, and it's a lot of work.
I was just going to add that I have a freshman in the high school, and so we get those attendance interventions that come out every week, and every week I'm showing her. She's like, I don't feel good. I don't want to go to school. I said, oh, but Ms. Zisler says if you miss 2 days a week, this is what this can be. So it really is very helpful.
Thank
For
you.
attendance for us, I have 2 things to share. So one, I was having issues with transportation and with kids oversleeping. So Mr. Denny actually set up to where now I have a district band from 10:30 to 12. So if a kid wasn't able to get to school in the morning session, we let them come in the afternoon. If for some reason they miss the bus in the afternoon, we can get them to school. And then we also have some flexibility. So when I do have kids that are starting a new job, like one kid's mom called and said, for this week, can he go to the PM session because he has job training in the morning? So we're able to allow that flexibility to get kids. We want them to come to school no matter what time we can get them at school. So we're able to be flexible to get them there.
And we do not send kids to the alternative school for attendance at the high school. The district has thresholds that are set by the state. We actually have more thresholds than the state because we're trying to front load some of this stuff. So we do grade level attendance notes out to parents. We really try to get in front of them before they get into that real threshold to where you start talking about diversionary court. You start talking about those attendance meetings with our truancy officers. So we try to do a whole lot before and communicate a lot before we get to that point to where we're talking about those thresholds that really count in our data.
So I just know personally, I'm looking forward to all the scores changing for all of these interventions and all the hard work that you guys are doing, that we'll start to see that on our report card. I know that's just a small snapshot, but that's what the public looks like, and that's what we hear about most, are those, the report card or what the data is. One other question for you, Mr. Martin. For the high school, the results, like, is there a way to make sure that parents understand all of this? I know that you're presenting it here, some people are gonna be listening. How do parents get this information so they understand where in the process, especially in the high school, it isn't just, oh, my kid made it to high school, they're gonna get their credits and they're gonna go on to, workforce, or they're gonna go into college, or they're gonna go into some type of job training. How do parents get this information? Do you guys do this in the beginning when they come in, you explain what's happening, so they get the full cycle and understand this chart?
Right. So this is our first year with this. So we're really excited about what we're attempting to do. We open the doors to all our parents to try to get them in. We also communicate the information about the individual kid. So the parents is part of this process. They're part of the team, even though they're not sitting at that MTSS meeting. The outcomes from the MTSS meeting needs to be communicated to the parents. So our principals and our counselors are communicating about the individual situations that we're working through because we need their help.
So if the kid identifies, because I know at OSBA, there was one kid that said that he didn't come to school and they were in this, I'm gonna call it Warrior Tech, but that wasn't what it was called. They had this tech, like a geek squad, but it was called Creek Squad, where he could go and they were part of this IT program that was part of a pathway. And for that particular student, he said, my attendance was horrible because I was just bored. So are we able to identify the students that maybe they're coming, but they're not participating because we're not meeting their needs that way? How are we giving them alternative pathways of learning that may include something like a Creek Squad type tech program where they're doing that during the school day and learning some job skills?
Yeah. So with the whole idea of the pathways, there's so many things that have opened up for young people. We actually have a robotics club. They actually just competed in a robotics competition. So our goal is to create as many opportunities as possible. That's been my thing from day one. So when I think about the things that we do at Winton Woods High School, we're second to none. You should be extremely proud in terms of the opportunities we create for young people. What we attempt to do is make sure we over-communicate and let them know that it's happening. So we get the word out. I think in some of our more unique situations around attendance, they're just that, and we all roll our sleeves up and just try to problem solve it. So what you're talking about is happening at Winton Woods as well. There's so many students that come to school for different opportunities that we present to them. I think about a young lady right now who started out not in the greatest of situations. She's a junior now, but she's the captain of the dance team. And that's what keeps her motivated. So it's that whole thing in terms of identifying those opportunities and make sure our kids know that they're there, we're there for them and willing to create it for them.
Thank you.
Just one thing I might add, Ms. Bryant, to your question on pathways, there is an existing 712 career pathway through the Oaks satellite program at the middle school and high school. So that's Gateway to Technology, Mr. Dixon?
Yes, sir.
And then Project Lead the Way, and that's the engineering pathway. There's also a pathway we're working on putting in place next year for health sciences and sports medicine. So we'll begin to work on that at the middle grades and also at the junior, senior level. And these take time to build. So, but we are working on that because it's another way to engage students. The project-based learning, trying to find what they're interested in and hook them no matter what it is, like Mr. Martin was saying. And then also the pathways is another way to engage kids.
And we're crossing our fingers for the construction pathway.
Yes, we are. We're working on that one as well.
You hear it, y'all.
Just have to find some more funding.
Some money.
I want to add on to that. So the work that Dr. Jones Parks is doing with my program is something that she wants to develop up and send to the rest of the North Campus as well. And Dr. Ragland has organized us going on a couple of professional developments the first week of March about building up that CTE component or the career technical education component. So I think that our Goodwill partnership and what that looks like is being developed at the smaller scale so that it can be leveled up when we're able to transition it to the North Campus.
That's awesome. Thank you, guys. So if there's anybody out there that wants to help with that construction pathway and money, please see Mr. Denny,
Please.
Mr. Day,
Yes,
our
absolutely.
treasurer. Great. Thank you, guys.
Anything else, board? Thank you all
Thank
so
you.
much.
Great information.
Thank you.
very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Helpful information for sure. I know I always enjoy getting updates like that and information. So with that, we will move on to 9.03, mathematics curriculum adoption for grades 6 through 12. Mr. Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you again, President Knighton. Board, you should have before you a copy of the presentation for the mathematics curriculum adoption for grades 6 through 12. And this report this evening will be presented by Dr. Tamara Ragland, Executive Director of Teaching and Learning, grades 7-12. This is a report this evening, Board. You also should have some materials before you. And then the plan will be to come back and respectfully request Board's approval for the program adoption in the month of March. Dr. Ragland?
We're here to talk about the mathematics curriculum adoption for grades 6 through 12. And I believe one of the prior questions asked of Mr. Martin was about engagement and getting students to come to school. Well, we got to make sure that we're giving them something that they need, that they want, and can use. And so part of that starts with, what are we teaching? How are we teaching it? So, why does this matter? Because we know that math opens doors. Anyone, especially who attended our Counted Out screening, I know Mr. Spillman, you were there, Ms. Knighton, you were in attendance also. We know especially that movie drove that message home, that math opens doors. There are many careers that are dependent on mathematics. And so all of our students deserve access, and our system has to work for everyone. So we know that math is cumulative. It builds from grade level to grade level. When students have unfinished learning, those gaps compound over time. And so our curriculum quality matters. We need to make sure that we have rigor and that our students are mastering those skills over time as they progress through our school district. So our vision, you see this graphic here, and it looks, or it is exactly what we want. We have this baseline, this foundation, and we want to start in elementary and work our way up to middle and through high school. And so you see the arrows that are going straight up, but you also see arrows that are going across. So we have to have vertical alignment. We also have to have horizontal alignment. And so we need something that's coherent, inclusive, and rigorous. We need to have a shared instructional vision across all of those grade levels in schools. We need to have clear learning progressions. We need to have consistency across schools. So what we're teaching, how we're teaching it, the mathematics moves that we're making. We're emphasizing our standards of mathematical practice in addition to our mathematical standards, because those are two different things. And then we're also aligned with project and problem-based learning. So our purpose, to ensure the selection of a high-quality, equitable, and coherent mathematics curriculum in Winton Woods City Schools. We're going to implement that in a deliberate, inclusive, and research-aligned planning process grounded in the district's instructional vision and Ohio's plan for K-12 mathematics. So here is what our instruction is going to look like. So every lesson, every classroom, we have clear learning goals. We have high-yield instructional strategies. We have student discourse. So of course, teachers are talking, but students also need to be talking not just to the teacher, but to one another. We know that students learn more when they can teach it to others. And we also need multiple representation. So they need to see the words. They need to see the pictures. They need to have buttons, concrete items that they can hold in their hands or that they can move on their computer screen. We need to see the graphs, the tables, the equations, as well as the words. And that's what I mean by multiple representations. So we had 4 phases of our process. The first phase, we established our foundation. So this time last year, we convened a curriculum planning committee. We created a shared belief, shared vision. We had grades 6 through 12 courses identified, and we had a decision-making structure. And our outcome was a shared definition of instructional excellence with that phase. Phase 2, we defined quality and criteria. So in March, we had our high quality instructional materials rubric applied. We use that rubric to help us to align and select materials. We created a district non-negotiables list. We also prioritized vertical alignment, and we had teacher supports that were emphasized. What we looked for in curriculum: grade level rigor with access, strong assessments and diagnostics, embedded professional learning, alignment to Ohio standards. Those were our must-haves. In phase 3, we narrowed it down, so that was April to May of last year. We took many criteria, narrowed them down to 6, and then after further review, we narrowed those 6 down to 3. We had a scope and sequence that we analyzed, and we also collected teacher feedback. And so those 3 that we selected for further review are there, the icons on the screen: EDIA, Amplify, and Imagine Learning. Phase 4, we prepared for the pilot and a recommendation. So in the fall, we identified those 3, we created pilot structures, and we had professional development. And now we are in spring 2026, and so this is the phase we are currently in. We are going to seek community. We're going to have a community presentation and seek feedback, and then we will make a board-informed recommendation and present that to you, and ultimately we would hope that next month that you would vote to approve our recommendation. So with the spring 2026 phase, we are looking to release videos that both publishers have put together in order to show to our community and share with them about our curriculum and what we're looking at, why we've selected these as our top 2 in particular. You have on your tables in the corner, I put grade level materials for both Imagine Learning as well as Amplified Desmos. EDIA is not a hard copy resource. It is a supplemental resource, and it is online. And so EDIA was piloted only at the high school because K-8 was using Zern at the time. It is not new. We just had a full implementation of it and drilled down into job embedded and used job embedded professional development there. But with EDIA was brand new. We selected EDIA to pilot because both of our curricula only go as far as Algebra 2, but we have subjects that are beyond Algebra 2. We have probability and statistics, calculus, we have modeling with mathematics, financial algebra. And so rather than purchase a single textbook for each one, we chose the technological resource EDIA because it also has an AI tutor. Teachers have a lot of flexibility. They can create multiple problems with that. And it also has the beauty of translating into over 100 languages. And they were so flexible in working with us. They did not have Fulani, but at our request, they added it for us. So moving forward, we want to be responsible stewards of resources, meaning that we want to be conscious of what we're purchasing and how much it's costing us over several years. Because once we select this, usually curriculum adoptions come with a long-term commitment of about 5 to 6 years because there's a learning curve involved. It takes time for teachers to learn the curriculum and to get really good at using it. And we also have the added responsibility of embedding our curriculum into our projects. And that means that some of our projects will have to be refined. Some projects may have to be removed, and other projects will have to be created. And that's fine. It's just all a part of the process. So we want to have teacher voice within a coherent system. We want to have equitable access to rigorous mathematics, and we want to have sustainable long-term improvement. So even after we make an official selection, there will be additional professional development that will be delivered prior to the end of this year. Teachers will gather again, as they did last year in May, and all of the math teachers came together for that vertical alignment because they were able to meet multiple grade levels, 7 and 8, 8 and 9, et cetera. And so they were able to plan for the coming year and looking at test data. What do our students know? What do they need to know? And how can they plan for that? And so in doing so, together we build mathematicians that are prepared for the 21st century. And I'd like to add, with the mentioning of CTE, if you're an electrician, you need mathematics. If you're a plumber, you need mathematics. If you are a doctor, you need mathematics. And so this former idea of it's either college or career is no longer the case. We're preparing students for both college and career. They go together. And now we're looking to build our CTE so that we can provide pathways and pre-apprenticeships or internships so students can get that experience prior to graduation to make better and more informed decisions once they leave us. And so if you have any questions, we can discuss those
So is
now.
the intent that we would approve a curriculum at the March meeting?
Yes.
Based
So
on the
I'm
recommendation
providing
you bring
text so you can see what we're looking at. If you have any additional questions at that meeting, we can discuss that at that time if you like. But I want to be able to show you what it is we're looking at to help you to make an informed decision about why we're doing what we're doing.
So I'm assuming that when, like, teachers will vote on which one they prefer?
Yes.
Okay.
And did you say EDIA was the one that was web-based?
So EDIA is a technology and supplemental resource.
Okay.
And so it's online only. It comes with an embedded AI tutor. It also allows for easy translation. I saw one of our high school math teachers using that resource in the Algebra 1 PSYOP class that he teaches, where he's got students with multiple languages and various levels of proficiency in that language, and yet he's still teaching them algebra, and they're able to learn by listening to problems that are played in their language and or translated into their language to help make it more accessible to them.
That's awesome.
So
is
Dr.
it-
Wright,
oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Dr. Wright, when you say supplemental, that's not gonna be the one, I'm assuming is gonna be recommended that we adopt completely, because it's not gonna serve the full need.
Right, so
Okay.
you're not voting on EDIA, but I did want to mention that it
Okay.
came out of this process,
Sure.
and there was a reason for using it. Typically, it will be serving our students and teachers that are teaching upper level classes, but our freshmen and sophomores in Algebra 1 and geometry have access to it also. Our math facilitator in the middle school who teaches Algebra 1 to 8th graders, he's also utilizing in order to have consistency because he has 8th graders in Algebra 1. Our 9th graders in Algebra 1 can also use it. And so when those 8th graders go to high school and they're taking geometry as freshmen, they still will probably encounter EDIA.
And these two, you said both go through Algebra 2?
Yes.
Okay.
And so one of you, actually, each of you has a separate grade level. So one of you may have Algebra 2, there's Algebra 1, there's geometry, as well as 7th and 8th grade math. And it says on the front of the book.
So are we, or the information, can we be provided I know you mentioned the cost of and we want to make sure that we're being, cost effective as
Yep.
well. Can we be provided the cost of the three, I guess?
Sure.
By our next work session or so?
Yeah.
They're both similar in cost, are they not?
They are.
Yeah. We can provide that.
And I've asked for quotes for 1 year, 3 year, 5 year contracts, just to look at prices, and the longer you purchase, or over the longer period of time is when you tend to get the deeper discount.
Sure.
And so oftentimes, there's still a negotiation that goes on between the district and publishers in terms of what we're paying and for how long, the length of the term of the contract.
And are there resources, I know this is more for high school, but are there adopted resources for the elementary school level as well?
So the elementary is coming, K to 5 will be coming next year. And so when we're finished adopting with reading and math, because right now we are beginning the process for a reading adoption for grade 7 and 8. So we will have K to 8 reading curriculum adopted, and we will have K to 12 math curriculum adopted.
Thank you.
I'm in the process of reading all the policies, just for the fun of it. And there's actually, I was just reading this week, and there's one on adoption of curriculum. So I don't know, it's number 2220. I don't know what's all in here, but if the things that are in the policy manual that we are supposed to have, if they're not in the material that you provided, could you, maybe by the work session, provide that?
I can.
They're
What's the policy number, Mr. Spielman?
2220.
I can, I can send you an email with that policy attached, just so you know what he's referring to.
So-
Because it may be in here.
So that policy refers to our process, the procedure of what's supposed to happen.
How you would-
And so that's what I addressed here in my presentation. If there's something else in the policy that I didn't address, I will gladly provide that.
Okay.
I don't think there is.
Thank you.
I have one question, Dr. Ragland, and kind of related to this, but not. So with the middle school students, are the gifted students self-contained, or are they still mixed in with the other students?
So no, our gifted students are in classes with other students as well. But for example, we have gifted students who are in our Algebra 1 class. And so those students are not all gifted. Some of them are accelerated. So if we have students that are in 7th grade and or 8th grade that are not gifted, but they've been identified through a process, and we do have a process for identifying students and their readiness for Algebra 1 outside of being gifted, but they would all be in that class. So we have Advanced English, we have Algebra 1, we do have Spanish, and we do have an Advanced Science class. Now, the English, the Algebra 1, and the Spanish, they can get high school credit. Advanced Science at this time is advanced, but there is no high school credit attached to it.
Thank you. I was just thinking in regards to like the student discourse and, with differentiating instruction, like you said. So when students are together, they're the best teachers, right? So if a student has a question and they may ask it a totally different way, then another student would think about it, then together they can apply that understanding. And so that's what I was asking, because I didn't know how the gifted makeup was at the school.
Yes. And so we have our workshop model, and our workshop model is actually Tier 1 instruction. So we're teaching to all students, and so students have the opportunity to do think, pair, share. They have lots of learner-centered strategies that we use as a part of our PBL model. And so that happens also.
Thank you, because I'm familiar with Amplify, and I know it has a lot of that, like the peer share, like working with the partner, but then also like the differentiation pieces in it, so that's why I was wondering.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know I didn't know if like with students here, if it's like, once gifted, always gifted, if we test, after so many years, or like how you identify it, so it's good to hear that they can be identified later to be able to go into advanced math classes also.
Any other questions, board?
No.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thanks, Dr. Ragland.
Board, next item on the agenda is 9.04, the T1 trend data for transportation. Mr. Denny, you have the floor.
Thanks again, Ms. Knighton. So board, you should have before you 3 T reports. We tend to report this to the board in February after it's been submitted to the state in January. And here to present that information would be Mr. Jeremy Day.
All right. Good evening, board. Thanks for having me tonight.
Good evening.
So the T1 reporting, we do this yearly. You'll notice the reports that you have in front of you. All of you would have seen the very similar reports before. Ms. Miller, you're the only one that is new to this. So I'll try to explain this as I go a little bit too, because it can be kind of confusing. I use the reporting based off of our former Executive Director of Business Affairs because of the way the state lays it out, and it lays it out very, very nicely. So I kind of went off the same reporting to keep it consistent with you guys as well. So the first report would be the miles by service type. Make this a little bit larger. Okay, so when you're looking at the miles per by service type, the different service types are on the left-hand side, and the key is on the bottom of the report. The top section, we've got the board-owned, which is just our yellow school buses that we would have. We don't have any contractor-owned. We don't contract any other bus services through us. So you'll have those total daily miles of 2,272. That's a daily on average. The next section down, you've got board-owned vehicles, others. We do have vans. We don't typically transport kids daily to school that way, typically. Privately owned vehicles, section 6 there, or type 6, that's more the contracted services. So we contract many of our out-of-district placements would be through UTS typically. So that's what is included in there. And that's about 1,120 miles. All the service types is 3,392. What's kind of interesting to me, and it always was every year that I've done it so far, is just you don't realize the number of miles that kids go daily to get to to get to schools. It's pretty amazing, really, how it all works out. Yeah. Second report is the pupils by service type. Similar looking report. So the first section is going to be district bus. So it kind of, the one thing I want to point out on the top line is where it says within 1 mile, because typically we're not transporting students if they live within a mile. So we've got 22 students that applies to. The vast majority of that is special needs students who require it in their IEP for special transportation. Doesn't matter the mileage. There are a few kids though that we found last year, and I think it's more than years before, is being that our early childhood central campus is in Forest Park now as opposed to Green Hills in the neighborhood. We find there's more walkers in the G section and the F section. There's a lot of walkers, always have been in those sections. So we found that last year to where we have, technically you have 5- and 6-year-olds who are walking to school. That's not something that I'm going to require, to do. Now, typically the parents are going to be walking, and the vast majority do. Occasionally we'll get a request, could be from a grandparent, could be health reasons, things like that, to where, hey, could I have busing because of, again, because of where the school was located. It didn't used to be that way. I think that's why you're seeing that a little bit more. I haven't even gotten to a handful of requests yet. So you're only talking about 2 or 3 parents typically a year is what happens there. So I just wanted to throw that out there as why that number may look a little high to you, because it's a little bit odd that way. Because the vast majority of our kids, we would not be busing if it's within a mile. kind of like the last report, there's no contracted bus service that we go through. It's all in-house for us. You really don't get down until the payment in lieu of, that is something that that you guys did earlier this summer as far as the impracticality of transporting. Sometimes that comes into play here to where it's impractical for a bus to take one student to a school that's over 30 minutes away type deal. So that's where the payment in lieu of comes to. So that's 62. Privately owned vehicles, that's the 17. Again, that's more the UTS situations there. And then our special education is 53 on the privately owned. So total, you've got, of all of the different pupils, is 2,788 who's getting transported to school by either district or by UTS transport. We have a large number of students nowadays that are getting dropped off, especially at South Campus. And I think a lot of it's based on location. There's just a lot of drop-offs, and I saw that when I was there. The line moves very, very quickly, but those first couple days of school, you can see how many people will drop off, and it's quite the line. So we do see those drop-offs at the buildings there. And then our last report is the trend report. This really just goes over the years. Started back in 2009. We kind of just kept the report going as far as the trend. This year, as opposed to last year, we've added about 95 students as far as transporting that we weren't last year. But you can see over the years, the one anomaly really is just that COVID year of 2021, where we really didn't bus that many at all until about March, I think it probably was. So that's really the anomaly. Past that, it stays fairly consistent within 100 or so, typically every year. And with that, I know that was kind of quick. Any questions?
I just have one quick question. I know you said at South Campus, it's increased the drop-offs probably because, location. Are you saying that that's maybe location because they live within that 1 mile radius, or location because we're having more that live like outside of the district?
I think that's a good number there. It's more the open enrollment is a good piece. That's a good number of it. It really is. It's not so much in the neighborhood, because you have a good amount of walkers there that do walk within the mile, every day. A lot of it is we have increased the enrollment, and a lot of it is due to open enrollment in that way. So I think that's definitely the case. I think elementary level, though, you do see just a lot of drop off just inherently. At least when I was principal, you would see that less and less at middle school, less and less at high school, especially being that we bus our high schoolers. But elementary level, especially if you ever go down to the board office, ECCC, a large number of students that drop off, just because typically younger kids, they do. A lot of times they.
Well, parents don't want to put their little ones on that big old bus.
Well, yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah, it is. It can be. It can be. And the way they operate, and we were really worried about that actually going into last year in this building, just because of the number of parents that we see drop off in kindergarten, first grade, second grade. The crew out there does an amazing job. I don't know if you see it very often. You probably don't see many backups. It's really only a 5-minute period of time in the morning. Honestly, they do a great job, and it really only took them a day or two to get it figured out. So they do a good job with that. But we do see really over the course of time, it's been the younger grades that really are dropping off more. So.
Yeah. What's the biggest thing that me as the board member can learn from this?
From this, I think it is just the sheer number of miles we're putting on the buses and kids that we're transporting day in and day out. That's what speaks to me. I see a crew down there of in the office where you've got 3 people. This year, really, they've only had 2 most of the year. We've got 3 now, which should be helping things greatly here. I'm looking forward to that change. But they've been operating with 2 people all year in the office, and it's quite the operation. It's quite the operation. I know that when I was a principal, you have to deal with subs and teachers being out and things like that, and you're trying to fill holes and when there's not enough subs and things, and they do the same thing down there in the morning and the afternoon, but you can't just throw a warm body behind a steering wheel of a bus. That doesn't work that way. So the puzzles that they're trying to figure out daily is really pretty remarkable. But then when you look at the actual numbers, It's pretty amazing to me that you put this many miles and this many kids daily to our schools, so.
If you do the math and include summer school, it's well over 600,000 miles
Yeah.
a year that's put on the bus fleet. So, and it's interesting because we're only 12 square miles, entire
Mhm.
square mileage of the district.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, 9.05, 73 Junefield Recreational Bike Path Easement.
Thank you, Ms. Knighton.
Of course.
Board 9.05, it was a report item that was shifted from a recommendation, and Mr. Day can get into explaining what transpired there. But this is concerning the former Beechwood/Primary North property in Green Hills, and an easement that the village, the district, and Great Parks have been collaborating about, and also the trail project. So, Mr. Day?
Yeah. Thanks for having me again. Appreciate it. So the walking path easement, we wanted to make sure the property on Junefield, which you guys are aware is up for sale. The typical use for this kind of a property from all the appraisals is going to be single-family homes. What we wanted to make sure is that there was a connection from the neighborhood to the park district. Ultimately, through this, there's going to be, it's basically be a walking bike path along the property edge. But we didn't want them, being able to build houses on that to where we couldn't have that connection. Okay, they've been working on this connection for decades. It's coming, and ultimately they want this connection to be with Glenwood Gardens through the neighborhood back there, which is really pretty impressive how that's going to all work. But this is kind of a key link, and we didn't want it just because we didn't think about it ahead of time as far as keeping that link alive. So that's the whole idea behind the easement. We had it on the board agenda for tonight because we were thinking that we would have all the legalese and the legal description. There's been back and forth between the engineers and between our attorney. So as soon as we have that for you, we'll be getting you for the board resolution and you'll be all set. So.
Thank you for keeping us up to date.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it with you at 9.06, the facilities update.
Okay. Thanks for having me again. Appreciate it. So some updates, baseball field, it's just about there. The dugouts are just about done. There's a windscreen coming for the outfield and then also for that fencing that's facing the middle school parking lot. It's going to say the exact same thing. It's going to be updated. It's going to look like the stadium fencing. Is what it is. And then the scoreboard, there's one little piece our electrician needs to do. As soon as that's done, then we're going to get Borgman here to teach us how to run it, and baseball field should be ready to go. So pretty excited to see it. It's been pretty amazing, the process and them working through all the weather. That's what's kind of holding up the dugout roofs is the weather. But they've been getting the fencing. It didn't matter how cold it was, which I appreciate it. I mean, we are paying them to do a job and all, I get that. But still, it's been pretty cold out there, so.
Do you know when their season officially starts, the baseball season?
End of March, I know.
I was going to say, it's probably coming up soon.
It's coming
Take
up.
somebody in
Yeah.
budget.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Yeah.
They've been practicing on it already.
Well, it's great that, it'll actually be, up and running.
It's gonna be nice.
Their season.
And one of the biggest problems we've always had with the field for years and years is on first base, the first base line, there's always just it's just a low spot. It always holds a lot of water. And to the point to where you're canceling games, often just because of rain that really a better field would handle, let's say that. So far, we've not seen anything like that. It's been handling all the weather, which has been great. That's been nice to see. And the kids have been on it already, so they've been practicing already on it, which has been nice. So, Junefield property, most of this information is going to be coming to you at your next work session in March. We have had some offers on the property from a few different developers, home builders. So, I believe the idea is to have our realtors come in and also talk with you guys to explain them all, and kind of make an informed decision that way. It's been nice having the collaboration with the village as well. We've looped them in the entire time. They met with us and all the developers all together. It was really, it's our property, it's your property, but we do want to be good stewards to the community and the village, and we thought that was important to keep them looped in. And central office renovation, we are waiting for the funding to become accessible. It's there in our accounts. We need to have it be accessible. And as soon as it is, we'll be ready to go. All the permitting's ready to go. Everything's ready. We're just waiting on that. I text messaged our rep yesterday, And he said he hasn't heard any news yet. I'm hoping, from his last text the end of January, he was acting like it'd be about a month, which puts us at about now that they'd be getting started. So I'm hoping that it will be very, very soon. I also messaged the business manager in Northwest, because he's been through some of these OFCC projects before. So I'm asking him, like, so, hey, how long does it take to have this happen? You know, because we had not done this before. He has, so I'm waiting to hear back from him. So I'll let you know if I hear anything. We are pulling the trigger on a high school monument sign. Okay, so what happened in the front of the high school, the high school drive, you see the digital sign that's there. That actually isn't the high school sign. That was initially there for central office, the old central office. And where central office was, it made perfect sense. Now when you look at it, it kind of doesn't make as much sense. It's kind of right on the edge of the detention basin. You know, so we're pulling the trigger on a replica sign of ECCC out here in South Campus. So same sort of brick design, the two-color brick, and then the digital sign. So we met today with the vendors and got a plan together. So we're pulling the trigger on that. So hopefully this spring, summer, it will be getting done there. We also pull the trigger on the stadium sound enhancement. We're redoing the entire press box as far as the electronics go. But then we're also adding a couple speakers on the outside of the press box, and they're going to be checking the angles and where all the speakers are facing as well as part of this project. So that one, the PO is already written, we're ready to go, so we're waiting on materials now. So it should be getting installed in the spring. Any questions? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
for all the
you.
information.
Thanks, Mr. Day. And Ms. Knighton, to your question, the first day for baseball workouts was today.
Okay.
First game, as of right now, is scheduled for March 30th, so they just started practicing.
I figured it was coming up soon. That'd be nice. Great, thank you. Next on the agenda is recommendations from the superintendent, 10.01 personnel schedules. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you again, Ms. Knighton. Board, you should have before you for 10.01, 5 personnel schedules, A through E, and the recommended action would be to approve said schedules as presented.
Okay, board and motion is in order.
Madam President, I'd like to move that we approve the personnel schedules as presented.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, it's been motion and seconded. Mr. DeMark, or you know what? Actually, I'm sorry. Questions or discussion? Ooh, I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, seeing none. Mr. DeMark, would you call for the vote, please?
Mr. Spielman.
Aye.
Ms. Bryant.
Aye.
Ms. Miller.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Knighton.
Aye, thank you. That vote passes unanimously. We'll go on to 10.02, job description for Executive Director of Human Resources. Board, a motion is in order for this one as well.
I would like to motion to approve the job description of Executive Director of Human Resources as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been motion and seconded. Mr. Denny, did you have anything that you wanted to speak about this, or?
Just,
on the board, you-
just briefly, Board, it completes a separation of duties between the Executive Director of Legal Affairs and Human Resources and restricts it or focuses it just on human resources and human capital management. So it's just it's a different job description than the one we currently had.
Sure.
And so,
Questions or discussion, board? Okay, Mr. DeMark, would you call for the vote?
Mr. Spielman.
Aye.
Ms. Bryant.
Aye.
Ms. Miller.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Knighton.
Aye. Thank you. That vote passes unanimously. 10.03, exempt employee salary schedule. Mr. Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you, Ms. Knighton. Board, you should have before you an updated or revised, very slightly revised version of the exempt employee salary schedule. It would be effective at the beginning of February. Board, you might recall last month you approved a job description for the child nutrition building support manager. This schedule is simply what was before with that position added so that we can authorize payment for that individual. And so, Board, the recommended action would be to approve the salary schedule as presented.
Great, thank you, board. Motion, please.
I make a motion to approve the exempt employee salary schedule effective February 1st, 2026 as presented.
I second the motion.
Okay, it's been motioned and seconded. Are there any questions or discussion? Seeing none, Mr. DeMark, would you call for the vote?
Mr. Spielman.
Aye.
Ms. Bryant.
Aye.
Ms. Miller.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Knighton.
Aye, thank you. That vote passes unanimously. 10.04, school calendar, 2027, 2028. Mr. Denny, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you, President Knighton. Board, you should have before you this particular school calendar. We do try to work 2 years out each year. So this recently passed through approval for the school calendar committee. This is for the 27-28 school year. It very closely follows the pattern for this coming year that the board's approved, the 26-27 school year, in terms of start and number of PD days, number of instructional days, et cetera. So board, at this point, you can see that before you, and the recommended action would be to approve the school calendar for 27-28 as presented.
Board, a motion is in order.
I make a motion to approve the school calendar for 2027 to 2028 as presented.
And I'll second.
Thank you. It's been motioned and seconded. Are there any questions or discussion?
I just wanted to point out on this calendar, just like in previous years, that the graduation date is not listed. It just says to be determined based on our space.
Thank you.
Good catch.
Thank you, Ms. Bryant. Good catch.
Thank
And those
you.
will be added, and we'll have to go back and,
Seeing no other discussion, Mr. DeMark, would you call for the vote?
Mr. Spielman.
Aye.
Ms. Bryant.
aye.
Ms. Miller.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Knighton.
Aye, thank you. That vote passed unanimously. 10.05, resolution for CTE, Career Technical Education Month. Mr. Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you, Ms. Knighton. Board, you may recall at the work session, we discussed ways to emphasize that February is also CTE month. And so a resolution was developed to help create that emphasis with our public, with our school system, and with our community. So board, you have before you a resolution for Career Technical Education Month being the month of February. And the request would be to respectfully approve that as presented.
Perfect. Motion is in order.
I motion to approve the resolution of CTE Career Technical Education Month as presented.
I'll second.
Great, it's been motioned and seconded. Board, I'd like to ask Ms. Bryant if you could read that resolution, if you would, please.
Resolution Career Technical Education CTE Month. Whereas Career Technical Education CTE programs play a pivotal role in preparing students for successful futures, providing them with the knowledge, skills, and experiences necessary to thrive in a rapidly evolving workforce. And whereas CTE integrates rigorous academic content with practical hands-on learning, enabling students to connect classroom concepts to real-world application. And whereas CTE programs offer students opportunities to explore a wide range of career pathways, including high-demand fields such as healthcare, engineering, technology, manufacturing, and skilled trades. And whereas CTE programs foster essential skills such as critical thinking, problem-solving, communication, collaboration, and leadership, which are highly valued by employers. And whereas CTE programs create additional pathways to access college and other post-secondary educational and training opportunities. And whereas CTE programs contribute to a strong and vibrant economy by providing businesses with a pipeline of skilled workers who are ready to meet the challenges of the 21st century workplace. And whereas CTE programs strengthen our communities by preparing students for high-skilled, high-wage, and high-demand careers, leading to increased economic opportunities and a higher quality of life. And whereas celebrating Career Technical Education Month provides an opportunity to raise awareness of the value and importance of CTE programs and recognize the achievements of CTE students, educators, and business partners. And whereas the month of February has been designated as National Career Technical Education Month. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Winton Woods City Schools does hereby recognize and honor the month of February as Career Technical Education Month in the Winton Woods City School District. And be it further resolved, the board commends the students, teachers, administrators, counselors, and business partners who are dedicated to advancing CTE and preparing students for successful careers and lifelong learning. And be it further resolved, the board encourages all members of the community to support and promote CTE programming and recognize the vital role they play in shaping the future of our students in our community. And witness, the board does hereunto set hand and approve this resolution adopted the 23rd day of February 2026.
Thank you so much. Board, any other questions or discussion or comments? Great, thank you. Mr. DeMark, would you please call for the vote?
Mr. Spielman.
Aye.
Ms. Bryant.
Aye.
Ms. Miller.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Knighton.
Aye, thank you. That vote passed unanimously. 10.06, resolution authorizing membership into the Ohio High School Athletic Association for the 26-27 school year. Board, a motion is in order.
I move that we approve the resolution authorizing membership in the Ohio High School Athletic Association for the 2026-2027 school year as presented.
I second the motion.
Okay, it's been motioned and seconded. Is there any discussion or?
This is just, Mr. Denny, this is just something. It's an official statement that we just have to take, correct?
Yeah, every district in the state that participates in the Ohio High School Athletic Association will be asked to pass a resolution similar to this one.
And this just stating that we agree with their terms of playing in the leagues. Thank you.
Yes.
All right, seeing no other questions, Mr. DeMark, can you please call for the vote?
Mr. Spielman.
Aye.
Ms. Bryant.
Aye.
Ms. Miller.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Knighton.
Aye, thank you. That vote passes unanimously. 10.07, approval of tax incentive financing agreement. Mr. Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you again, Ms. Knighton. Board 10.07 would be approval of a tax incentive financing agreement between the district and Springfield Township. It concerns two different properties. 10.08 is similar. 10.07 is the Grossman project located in Springfield Township. And board, they actually would have two attachments. One would be the actual resolution being contemplated this evening. The second attachment has more detail about the site. It is a plat for the homes, the home sites, I should say, and other reference information about the project. So board, the resolutions hold the district harmless, meaning there'll be no lost income that would have been generated from the site, so it does keep the district whole. Was recommended by legal counsel as well, and represents a sound financial move for the district at this point. Believe it also represents over 160 homes in the township to be added, so that will long-term add to the financial stability of the district as well. So board, the recommended action would be to approve the resolution for approving a tax increment financing exemption and tax incentive compensation agreement with Springfield Township, Ohio, regarding the Grossman TIF Incentive District as presented.
Great, thank you. Board, a motion's in order.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution approving a tax increment financing exemption and tax incentive compensation agreements with Springfield Township, Ohio, regarding the Grossman TIF Incentive District as presented.
I'll second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Are there any other questions or discussion?
I'd just like to point out, when people hear about tax increment financing exemption, Winton Woods City Schools will receive our full distribution of tax, our tax value amounts from Springfield Township on this property. So it's, we're made whole by the deal, by the contract. And it's clearly referenced in the language of the contract, how and when and the terms for payment. So we are totally made whole in the agreement.
Thank you for that. Okay, Mr. DeMark, can you call for the vote?
Mr. Spielman.
Aye.
Ms. Bryant.
Aye.
Ms. Miller.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Knighton.
Aye, thank you. That vote passes unanimously, 10.08. This is another property as well, like Mr. Denny had mentioned. We'll need another separate motion for this one.
I'll move that we approve the resolution approving a tax increment financing exemption and a tax incentive compensation agreement for Springfield Township, Ohio regarding the Diebold TIF Incentive District as presented. The entire TIF packet has also been provided to us.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. It's been motioned and seconded. Are there any questions or discussion?
My comment about the first property also pertains to this. Winton Woods is made whole in the distribution of, they're not tax monies, but they're full value payment.
Mr. DeMark, would you call for the vote?
Mr. Spielman.
Aye.
Ms. Bryant.
Aye.
Ms. Miller.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Knighton.
Aye. Thank you. That vote passed unanimously. We'll move on to 11.01, Board of Education reports, the legislative report. Mr. Spielman, you have the floor.
I'm going to make it quick tonight. The report is 44 pages, so please feel free to read it before you go to bed. The House and the Senate committees began meeting the last week of January and the first week of February. The House comes back into session on 2/25 and the Senate on 3/4, and they will meet Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of each week. There's several bills. Probably the biggest one, there's two I'd really like to talk about given the timing. The Senate Committee on Education heard a proponent and interested party testimony on Senate Bill 311. It's Chairman Brenner's omnibus education bill. It includes a variety of miscellaneous provisions, including changes, modifications around the disposition of school property, truancy, licensure, among other things. Senator Brenner has indicated this bill, or House Bill 455, may become a catch-all bill for a number of education provisions that the General Assembly could approve this spring. So I've made a note of that, and I'll keep watching and see what Senate Bill 311 comes up with. The other one, as you know, there's about 320 school districts are suing the state in a class action lawsuit regarding the funding of educational choice, or Ed Choice as it's known in Ohio. A lawmaker who also sponsored the Cup-Patterson Fair School Funding Plan in 2021 wanted to restrict state funding to districts who joined the lawsuit, like Winton Woods City Schools. After a massive backlash, he reversed his decision. Potentially, the restriction will be only on the committed funds, which is $2 per student. So we'll see what happens there. But they say it doesn't help to contact your representatives, and it does. So the rest is in the report.
Great. Thank you so much. Appreciate the update. Next on the agenda is 11.02, the Great Oaks Career Technical Center report. Again, I'd just like to recognize February as the National Month for Career and Technical Education. And also just want to take a moment to point out the amazing work that the Trailblazers at Great Oaks Career Campuses have been doing that work for over 50 years. I personally am honored just to be serving on the board of directors, and truly consider it a privilege just to see the work that's being done to create career and technical paths for students every day firsthand. So the highlights from our February board meeting and the monthly student spotlights are attached in board docs if you guys want to indulge those full reports. But I do want to recognize some of our students from our own, Warrior Nation. We do have several students in the healthcare programs at Scarlet Oaks who are going to be advancing to the HOSA. I don't know if they call it HOSA or for short, but it's the HOSA state competition, which I had to do a little research because I wasn't very familiar. But it is a leadership organization for future healthcare professionals. And so we have a bunch of students that are actually in the program and will be advancing to the state competition. We have a few students advancing in the dental assisting program. That is Mimi Asende, Cheyenne Bostic, and Nella Ipani. We also have 3 students advancing in health technology. And so that's Kylie Cobb, Maro Indwa, and Kyra Mays. And then we have a student advancing in surgical technology, Anna B. I'm not going to try to mess up her last name. I want to be respectful, but it's a very long and beautiful last name. And finally, we have Tristan Sims, who is crushing it in his second rotation as an interim or as an intern in the Project Search program. And so definitely good luck to all of our students and best wishes at the state competition. And then, let's see, I believe that was all of the students that we had recognized this month. Next on the board agenda is board motions and recommendations, which is 12.01. I don't believe we have any, so we'll go ahead and move on to 13.01, comments from the board. Mr. DeMarc, this is going to be new for you, but do you have anything you would like to say?
I do not, no. I think I've said enough.
He's following me.
Okay, Ms. Bryant.
I wanted you to, can you go skip and go, no, I'm just like. First of all, I want to say thank you for everyone who was recognized today. It was great to see this gymnasium packed with friends and family and students, so that's always a pleasant way to start the school board meeting. So congratulations to all of those who are honored. Congratulations to our Skyline Teacher of the Month. Also, thank you to Waycross Community Media, and thank you to Diana Herbie for kind of giving us that update and all the work that you all do. It's always wonderful to know that whatever we do as a meeting or a sporting event, that there's someone from Waycross there volunteering their time to make sure that the public gets to see all the neat things that happen. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I also wanted to give a shout out to our Warrior Wrestling. I don't know if people know that I'm a former wrestling mom and a soccer mom, and so wrestling is near and dear to my heart. So I love to see the coaches' updates online. I think myself and school board member Smith are the two that we get tagged, and I just got tagged in something earlier. So congratulations to the Warriors, the ladies Warriors. We have a really great lady Warrior wrestling team, and they are crushing it, as well as our boys wrestling team. So they are ECC League champions. So that is wonderful. We had a wrestler, varsity results, Damian Culver, he won first place. Sean Howard was second, and we've got some junior varsity wrestlers as well. So even though wrestling is a not newer sport, but it's a sport that doesn't always get the recognition compared to our other sports, I just wanted to say congratulations to them, and please keep up all the hard work they've done. And to my fellow board members, happy School Board Appreciation Month, and thank you to everyone for these wonderful gifts. It makes me feel appreciated. It wasn't necessary, but thank you. I like gifts. So that's it.
Thank you. Ms. Miller.
Oh, okay, well. Just want to say thank you to everyone for honoring school board, and I'm really excited to see our students also in the CTE space be recognized. And so thank you, Ms. Knighton, for highlighting those students. And then it's also Black History Month, so I want to say happy Black History Month, because we know we wouldn't even have these lights in these buildings if it wasn't for Black people. So shout out to the Black people. Happy Black History Month.
Mr. Spillman.
Mine's short tonight. I'd just like to congratulate our students, staff, community members, and our 7 Oak students who received honors and special recognition tonight. And I'd like to thank the school for the gifts. I've been enjoying the candy while we've been sitting here. So. Thank you, thank you.
Mr. Smith.
Thank you to everyone for the school board acknowledgements. We do it out of a labor of love. It's definitely not for the monetary compensation. That being said, thank you much. Go Warriors.
Mr. Diddy.
Thanks, Ms. Knighton. Just a couple things to piggyback off what Ms. Miller shared. With it being Black History Month, I wanted to give a shout out to Winds Green Accelerator, Mr. and Mrs. Mays, Derek and Eve Mays, for the Tuskegee Airmen exhibition that's been at the community building. We've had multiple classes come see it. It's such a rich piece of history for students to learn and understand and appreciate. So just a shout out to them for bringing the exhibition. It's essentially like a museum. If you haven't had a chance to see it, highly recommended. And it's interactive as well. But a shout out to Mr. Day and Ms. Hobbs, and also Mr. Ryle for helping coordinate all that and bring it together. And there's, on March 2nd, there's another community open house. So we had one last week, and then there's another one this week. This week is actually Public School Week, so I just shout out to public schools for the difference that we make in the lives and the development of children all across the United States, and particularly right here in Winton Woods. The wrestling team caught my eye too, Miss Bryant. And I saw that we had multiple first place winners for the girls wrestling team. Amina Green, Dayana Hahn, multiple third place finishes at the ECC, the Eastern Cincinnati Conference Championships. Jada DeWalt, Precious Okancaro, and then also Corey Blevins, second place, Jocelyn Watson, second place, and Raylan Scott's third place. So just very proud of the young ladies, but also our young men as well. Multiple finishes in the top three. You mentioned some of those, so this is great to see. Want to make sure we give a shout out to the wrestling team. Also the bowling team, we have someone that is absolutely tearing it up right now. Her name is Lizzie Baker. She's very competitive this year, and only as a sophomore, so we look forward to more great things from Lizzie. Shout out to bowling. Girls tournament action begins this Wednesday, 6 p.m. I believe it is, at Lakota East High School. So if you're available and want to take in a really great basketball experience, 6 o'clock Lakota East, first round playoff games for girls. First round for boys is March 2nd at 7:30, also at Lakota East High School. So didn't make it onto the school report because we didn't have that information until, well, yesterday for the boys and very recently for the girls. Finally, Night of Excellence, March 12, Winton Woods High School, Winton Woods Middle School, North Campus. Night of Excellence for South Campus will be in April. So one of the best nights of the year outside graduation. Highly recommended. And then finally, I wanted to make sure I gave a thank you and a shout out to Ms. Wilson. Thank you for all your service. We appreciate you. That concludes my remarks.
Ah, dang, I definitely can't follow that right there. You just gave a whole lot, but definitely want to say congratulations to Ms. Wilson on your new opportunity. We definitely wish you the best, and thank you for your service at this district for so long, and for just continuing to support up until the very last minute. So thank you for that. I ditto Black History Month, so definitely thank you to our students, our educators, not just for celebrating, you know, I love the activities that are celebrated this month, but I love that we embrace diversity in our district all year long. I think that's something that makes us great about the fabric of our district, and so I just appreciate that our educators support that and see and hear and learn from our kids on a daily basis. And so I think it's just inspiring. And so I definitely also ditto what my colleagues say. I mean, these expressions of just appreciation for us as school board members, it is a very thankless job. But these are so sweet and so heartwarming, and so I cannot wait to go home and open and read. And that's what I'm going to choose to read tonight, not the legislative report, okay? So,
Why?
I'm sorry.
The legislative report
I
is
hope
so
you
much
don't
more
take that
entertaining.
personal, but.
I can't believe that.
You can read the legislative report tomorrow night.
So, but definitely,
I'm going to
thank
call you with questions.
Thank you to all of our award winners, and thank you to everybody who has definitely voted to put us in this seat for your vote of confidence, because it is a choice, and like Mr. Smith said, it definitely a labor of love. So we definitely appreciate that. 14.01 on the agenda is for executive session, but we don't have a need for one this evening. So 15.01, as always, we want to definitely thank our friends and partners at Waycross Community Media for continuing to support us. Miss Herbie, definitely heard her and appreciate all of the work that you guys continue to do to support us throughout the year. And so we will adjourn with that. Thank you.